Hey everyone, welcome to the Wednesday live stream.
Good day,
What's
people.
up?
Good day. How's it going?
What's up, Internet?
Good.
What is the internet? Avis Squeeze. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, today is
Wednesday,
my dudes. April 29th.
Mm-hmm.
the last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday of April. You're right. No more fooling. And today, anything happened this weekend? Guys, did you do anything this weekend? We did nothing. We were not anywhere.
Not involved.
Most of you
We were
didn't.
not involved with anything. What else happens? Conspiracy minded. We're going to talk about. Trump fires the NSB, whatever that means.
Jesus Christ.
Ogre versus the onion, or onions rather, is what I meant, to not give it away. And I wrote more taxes, but I didn't mean that. I meant TikToks. I forgot to edit that out. But I guess there's more taxes too. More taxes. Anyway, how's everybody doing?
Yeah, you know,
Bob,
it's
what?
been fun
It's been fun.
since last week.
Sure. Bob did something.
Yeah.
Bob,
I went
you
to
have anything to admit?
I went to Bermuda
Bermuda, Bahamas.
on a cruise,
Come on, pretty mama.
Did you
independence
travel through the Bermuda Triangle?
of the seas.
Is it possible to get to Bermuda without going through the Bermuda Triangle? Is
think
Bermuda
so.
within the
Under?
Bermuda Triangle?
No, it's one.
It's one point.
It's one point. It's
Of
one
the
of the.
triangle.
It's
Yeah,
one
but
of
is,
the
does
it,
that-
is,
where does
is
that-
it the southern point or the
It's the
northern
northern.
point? I don't know, and I don't really
It's the
care too
northern
much.
point.
But is it the point that's closest to the triangle
No,
or
I think
farthest
you can
away?
get there without entering the
Triangle.
triangle.
Let's look it up. Let's just freaking look this up over here.
Let's look up this made-up triangle.
Yeah, of course. you
Made
can
up.
Get to it.
It's real. It's a real triangle. Look.
Southern, look at southern.
Bahamas are here. So you could be in the Bahamas and not be in the triangle? Seems like that's where, you know what I mean? Turks and Caicos is part of it. San Juan.
So zoom
First
into
time in
Bermuda.
San Juan. And Bermuda. Wait.
Yeah,
Oh,
zoom-
that's the Bahamas. Sorry, you said
Yeah,
Bermuda.
so the maps like this usually treat Bermuda as a point.
You said the Bahamas.
Well, that's
Yeah, so-
clearly the
Yeah, that's
southernmost
true.
point.
Well, yeah, why isn't it the other side of the island, though?
Because it's more about what's in the ocean and not what's on land.
Yeah. Where's the ports? I guess
And-
all the port is right. Schmear. I mean, I guess are there ports on the northern eastern side, or
There's
is
ports all over the place.
it? Oh, well, it's portable.
Yeah, I'm sure the people.
The main port is on the southern side. though.
Okay, that makes
I'm
sense.
sure the people are like, we don't want to be in the Bermuda Triangle because people won't visit us. But it was beautiful, beautiful. I bought one thing, and this is it.
Ooh.
My Bermuda
Hat.
hat.
Bermuda
You didn't
and
buy
all
any
you got
Bermuda
was the
shorts?
hats?
I
That's
liked
what
it
Bahamas
not.
are for.
I liked it because of the
Something
color and of
leaves.
course the pirate. I got to tell you though, there's pirate stuff in Bermuda, but they got to up their pirate game. They got to like lay into it harder.
Like what?
I don't
Like
know.
A
Just wasn't up to Bob
cemetery?
level.
Yeah, just a little bit more. They just don't enhance it as much as they should. I mean, you got
Enhance.
pirates as part of your culture.
Yeah.
Lay into it, man.
They're not selling to you though, Bob.
This isn't pirate enough for you? It's not the pirate life?
Oh, so that's
for
the Independence of the Seas. That ship, man.
That's big.
Did you go on the slide?
Jesus.
I did not.
Well, why not?
That ship was gorgeous and Brobdingnagian. It was so big. And then when I looked at the history, the evolution of
Always go full pirate.
Royal Caribbean cruise ships, this is a baby. This is like the 4th or 5th biggest.
Oh, it's nothing.
It's just
Did
like
you get any seasickness?
no. I thought I got
pretty good at
seasick
it?
once in my life when I was in 16-foot swells getting certified for scuba diving.
Oh.
That's like the only time I really like. And then you jump in the water. Well, two things. You look at something that's stationary, like
Yeah.
something on the horizon,
horizon.
right? You get into the
This
middle of the
floating
ship. You get
petri
into the
dish.
middle of the ship. So if you're in the middle of the ship, if the ship is doing this movement, you're not going to be moving nearly as much. Of course, the middle is the best because if you're in the middle at the side,
You're still going like
you're
this.
still going like that. But
Steph says, or Stephen maybe, it says SS norovirus. Is that what it is?
yeah, I
that the
caught
name of
something
it?
though the
Yeah,
last
you got
day.
the
Some
crud?
cruise ship crud.
Well, you didn't catch it the last day. Your symptoms appeared on
Right.
the last day.
But it's trivial. It's very, very, very trivial. Trivial.
It
So
was
what
a
is it?
pursuit.
You want to show some of the other
Yeah,
pictures?
sorry,
So
let me
that's
get some of the other pictures.
Independence of the Seas.
I use this as the main image, which is a bird.
So we see a lot of these birds. We're like, what do you call these guys? And they said it's the Bermuda longtail, and we're like, okay,
Well,
sure it is.
I call them sky stabbers because the tail is made out of metal.
But they were beautiful. That is one of their official names, Bermuda longtail.
Does it make any fun noises?
Sounds like a
or-
common name.
Yeah, the interesting thing that really blew me away was like they come to Bermuda in like March, like where do they go in the winter? They go to the ocean.
Yeah.
They're not land. They live on the ocean from October to February. It's like holy, of course they float on the water, but that shocked the hell out of me. I'd be
Okay.
pissed if you were a bird. Like what? We got to go live at the ocean for the
also-
entire winter.
Called the white-tailed tropic bird, or phaethon. I don't know how to pronounce that. Lepturus catsby.
I like sky stabber better.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The traditional harbinger of spring in Bermuda.
What I
They
found
are
interesting about
beautiful.
Bermuda, ecologically speaking, is it has no fresh water. There's no source of fresh water in Bermuda.
On the island.
Sure
other than
there is.
No,
rainwater.
there isn't. Only
Rain.
rainwater.
Yeah, that's just rain. Rain is your only source, which is not enough, to sustain the island.
Well, I mean, their roofs are designed.
Yeah.
They're all like white and meticulously maintained, and they've got little ridges on them, and they
all have
go down
rain barrels.
and they go into rain barrels in their basement. But there's also water underground. There's a water table underground that they have access to. That's another source. Rain, the water table in a few areas. And there's also a lot of waters imported as well. And I think there was actually one more source of fresh water. I don't
If
remember it.
Subnautica taught me anything, you can get water from a fish.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
the right kind of fish.
The right
They
kind
are
of fish, that's right.
surprisingly not self-sufficient.
Yeah,
Oh, like
What do you
they
mean?
rely on trade?
surprising.
So
they're an
I
island.
figured
They're an
that
island.
I know, but you would think they'd have a lot of
Like water treatment facilities and stuff.
Oh, like desalination?
no, more in terms of like growing some of their own food and stuff.
They don't. There's not enough land to grow their food.
Well, they used to be big in exporting onions, but I think that fell by the wayside
Well, I
at
mean-
this
Oh,
point.
yeah, Bermuda onions. I remember that
Yeah.
being a thing.
I would think that. I mean, if they're not getting shipments, they're toast
Yeah.
fairly quickly.
Well, you think, should we use this plot of land to grow food, or build a hotel on it, make money,
Right.
and buy food?
Seems like that.
Also,
It is-
when we were there, a lot of the locals were complaining about the fact that, sort of complaining. So Bermuda has become a huge financial hub, which brought in a lot of money, which is good for the economy, but it also made everything super expensive.
Yeah.
And so the locals now, just with a regular job, like you can't afford anything because it's all priced for these super rich
Yeah,
financiers.
it was considered among the most expensive
Yeah.
country in the world. That's bread, $16. A protein drink. You pay for a protein drink in the States, $2, $3, $4. It was like $8.
Yeah.
It's like, my God.
Everything's got to be shit.
The
down.
prices were crazy. Totally
There's a
crazy.
solution. All right, let's. Here's
I'm ready
another-
for Subnautica 2. When's it coming out?
I know it's coming out soon.
Yeah.
People
Heard
were
that-
talking about it in the chat. In the
I know it was delayed
Discord.
like for a year because
my
of that
God, so
stupid
many.
lawsuit where a company bought the original company and then
Right.
tried to cheat them out of their contract by saying that they didn't launch on time, but they're the
ever
ones who
launching?
delayed the
Alright, stop.
launch.
Oh man.
Bastards.
So they sued them, and then the case eventually got resolved in favor of the original company. So now they're coming out with it.
Yeah.
And Subnautica 2 is going to have multiplayer.
Multiplayer. Yeah.
Native. I mean, the other one had a mod where you could do multiplayer. It was a little janky.
Mods are janky.
Yeah, it was a little janky. All right. So that's pretty fun. Oh, wait. And let me full screen it so you can see it better. There's that.
Yeah, my camera did something funky to the sun, and I liked it.
Yeah, it's like the HDR setting or something. I
Yeah.
think.
That's pretty
I-
intense, man.
So this is we went on a
Looking
glass
hot.
bottom boat, which was kind of
Those are
cool.
cool.
And
Sue everybody.
the sun disappeared into the clouds. We're like, oh crap! And then like minutes later, the clouds disappeared, and we saw a nice sunset. We did not see a green flash. Which is
just gonna
something
ask
that
you
is
that.
See any
rare
whales?
and wonderful. We saw a whale spout. Right,
Yeah.
we saw that. We didn't see anything
Did
more
you
than
say
that.
Darcy blows?
No,
Ah,
did not.
Darcy blows.
Did not.
Bob,
We-
when do you get a chance, man? You
God,
say
you want more
Darcy
pirate.
blows?
You're just bitching about you
Come
want things
on.
God
more
damn
pirate
it.
intense, and you didn't even do that.
I'm really pissed now. Shh, damn it. We found out it was almost certainly a humpback.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a humpback.
Yeah. So that was cool, but it was so brief. And we just happened to see it.
CGI.
Everyone's running over from the other side of the boat. Like, sorry,
Wait, did
you
the
know.
boat tip a little bit?
No.
That's funny. The previous weekend, my wife and I visited my daughter down in Pennsylvania to see
Darcy
to go on a
blows.
birding tour, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's migration season, so like there's this one bay where you can see just a ton of birds because they're all migrating through, you know. So yeah, so we're there as all birders on the boat. We're all looking for different types of birds and everything, and we spot a dolphin, and everyone's like, "Ooh, a dolphin!" Everyone starts running over. The guy's like, "I can't compete with the dolphin."
Yeah. No.
Even among a bunch
No
of
flying
birders.
dolphins.
Did you see any swallops?
Yes,
You did.
yeah, we did.
All right. There's another one here. That. Oops. Sorry.
This was the best beach I've ever been to. This is Horseshoe Bay Beach in
I've heard of
in
that.
Bermuda, of course. There's rock structures like this
Pretty.
all over the beach. I found out after we were leaving that this was voted at one point the
Football.
third best beach in the world. And when I heard that, I'm like, yup. It was so cool. It was
Yeah,
so
looks
cool.
pretty.
They were just so amazing.
We were there on kite days. You weren't there on kite
No.
day. So there's one day a year, I think it's Easter or something,
Where they fly kites?
where everyone flies kites. So there's like hundreds of kites in the air.
Oh, man.
It's
That,
cool.
that must have been pretty.
Mary
Yeah.
Poppins style. All right. What are these? What are those?
So I saw those and I was like, oh my God.
They're
are these
not
Are
trilobites.
these fucking trilobites? That's your first thought. Like, oh my God, I felt them. They're clearly not fossils, but man, they were on so good.
Yeah.
You could think that they'd been there
Big old potato
permanently
bugs.
for decades. But I found another shell. I found another shell that's completely unrelated to that. And you could feel it was loose, so they had an attachment as well, but not as strong as these mothers.
Yeah.
So that's not a trilobite. It's a mollusk
Yeah.
called a chiton.
What do they eat?
And like an
Probably
algae.
bottom feeders, right?
And
Yeah.
they are
Is it an
they're-
isopod or is it? I mean, I guess that's just a type of
it's a
group of animals, right?
yeah, I just know that it's a mollusk and it's I guess its family or order, Steve, has been around for a couple of 100 million years, so they
doing
got
good.
some longevity going on. But for a few seconds, I was so excited that I found a real fossil. But then I found them, it's not uncommon on that beach.
That's pretty cool.
So they are fossils.
No,
No.
those are living things.
Living things.
Now, is it true that they'll attack
hard-plated.
people as they walk by?
They-
Bob?
they-
Yeah,
leap-
bite
they leap off
your
and-
shins.
and
Look
attached
at the
to
bones. Look at the bones.
your carotid artery. It's
All
fun
right.
to watch.
You did send me something that does look a little piratey. A little
Yeah, there's
pirate.
All right.
So one of my favorite things
not
was
very
this
long,
cemetery behind a church, and this is from the 1800s. The decay on these tombstones, I've never quite seen this level of decay. It was beautiful.
You think it's because of the salt water? It's like eating away at
Oh, I'm
easier
sure
or
that has
something.
something
I
to
don't
do
know.
with
Yeah.
Probably.
But also just pure age, man. 1800s,
true.
was
Was
a
there
long
any
time.
legible writing on any of them?
Like
kinda
those
same.
that you're seeing there, no, but some of them seem to be maintained to a
So is
certain degree.
this?
And I found one table-like tombstone made of like a white marble that was like, looked like it was made a few years ago. It was like clearly, but it was from the 1800s, or at least what was written on it was about a guy from the
Yeah.
1800s who lost his leg in battle.
Yeah,
But somebody
Bermuda
maintains that.
was a British colony, and it's a Commonwealth, so it has all the British stuff going on.
Right,
So
absolutely.
they drive on the wrong side of the road. I mean, the left, and they have the cops
Yep.
have the British uniforms.
Didn't really see any cops.
Did you sing the roly poly song, like the fish head song?
Nope. But I had the rum swizzle drink because that's one of the.
Did
Yeah.
you,
Big
did you
drinks.
get
It
it
was
dark and
pretty good.
stormy while you were there?
No. Liz had the classic Bermuda fish sandwich. But yeah, we went to one restaurant on the island. It was good. It
Was
it
the
good.
fish sandwich on raisin bread? Was it that
Yes,
one? Yeah,
yes.
It's fantastic.
Nice, Jay.
Yeah, they're very
Yeah,
good.
they were. She said that was really good. I did
How-
take a bite and it was good.
How much weight did you gain, and what were the people like on the cruise? Be honest.
Let's say again.
How much weight did you gain, and what were the people like on the cruise? And be honest.
Everybody was super
so
nice. The crew was ridiculously nice. But yeah, that's just a place where you will gain weight. I mean, the dining hall was magnificent. It was so beautiful. But man, you go there and get a starter, a main course, and a dessert every time, twice a day, every day. And what happened most often is like, I feel like I just ate lunch and now I got to eat dinner. It was just like, we
Those
had
bastards.
we had the early dinner though. We picked the 5 o'clock dinner instead of the 7 o'clock dinner because at 7 there's some good stuff going on. We saw skating, like professional skaters on this little rink. One guy did a triple. I didn't even think the rink was big enough for somebody to do a triple, but only one guy did one triple.
Yeah.
The last day they were doing it again, and they canceled it because the boat was so rocky. They said they can't do their show because
that sucks.
it'd be. I have seen figure skating on the TV a million times. When you're watching it live, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
Especially the one where the guy has the woman by the legs and is swinging her up and down in a circle, and in the down, her head is literally this far from the ice. When you watch that, you're just like, whoa! I mean, it looks
Yeah.
so
Even begin to do
dangerous,
that. That's
so
crazy.
dangerous. One little mistake, and her head is basically hitting ice at a good clip. It was just amazing to watch. They were good. It was fun.
How was your room?
The room was beautiful. We got obviously kind of tight.
Yeah, small.
There's a picture of one part of the room in there that I sent you with Liz in that image, Ian. But we got a balcony. I recommend a balcony.
You have to,
get the
yeah.
balcony because we would order breakfast every morning, and we'd sit on the balcony. It was just
Was the coffee hot?
yeah. The coffee temperature I did not have
Amazing.
trouble with. Jay, you had another reason why you recommended that I
Well,
get a balcony.
you don't ever want to stay in an internal room on a cruise. Firsthand, guys, firsthand. It turns in basically to a fart box. If you go to the bathroom, that air will remain in there basically forever. Yes, so don't do that.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
Although I thought being on the outside was more prone to seasickness, like because it's that's where you're moving more. That's why I think I was in an internal room and it was fine because it doesn't kind of wiggle, around the axis.
Those boats are so big, though. I mean, most, as
I
long
guess
as you're
that's
not
true.
on the.
It's cool. It's really weird though to be walking on solid ground and all of a sudden you're like, damn man, it just
Yeah.
moved. And I would often think, what would I think if I didn't know I was on a ship? You'd be thinking, oh, am I drunk or do I have some vestibular
or is
disease?
gravity having a problem?
It's so bizarre.
You know, there's a rare neurological disorder. I actually had a patient with this called mal-débarquement. It's French, described by a French guy, where you're on a ship or whatever for a period of time, and then when you go back onto land, your brain never transitions back to being on land,
Holy shit.
and you feel like now on solid land you feel unsteady.
So what do you do for those guys?
It's I don't know.
Is just smack them? I mean,
It's-
hit them on the
it's
head.
very hard to treat.
They gotta
Reboot?
live on a boat.
It's
That's
very hard to
crazy.
treat.
Some ships have pool tables. We had like 2 pool tables in one of the bars on the ship,
Is it on a
and
tilt?
some of them have auto leveling features.
Yeah.
And
Because without that, it's pretty pointless, isn't it?
yes,
You just
yeah,
wait
you'd
for
have
the
to
balls to
be
roll
pretty
in.
calm. It has to be pretty calm. Otherwise, you just gotta
Yeah.
be like, the balls are gonna move, and you got to deal with it. But I saw one of these auto leveling pool tables, and they said it's wild because when you're on the ship and you're watching it auto level, it looks like the pool table is moving, but the balls don't move, even though it might be
Yeah.
doing this movement. I was really hoping we'd have one, but we didn't. They didn't foot the bill
Yeah,
for one of those expensive pool
And
tables.
when it looks crooked to you, you're crooked.
Yeah. right.
Exactly. They had a rock climbing area, mini golf, pools, hot tubs, huge video screen outside. It was very cool. But now that I got a taste of a mid-sized boat, I want to go on one of the mega
Yeah, I mean,
ships that are just like literally 30% larger. But they're longer, but they're also wider. They're much wider, which I would think would make them even less rocky than.
I want to go on a lake tour of Europe.
Yes, we talked about that.
Yeah,
we talked
that could
about
be a
that.
fun trip.
a
Yeah.
lake tour.
Yeah. It's a
A big lake. No, I mean a river tour. A
Yes,
river,
that's
like,
no
like the
lake.
Danube or something. You
Okay,
know,
that's
Right.
that actually could take you to like a dozen European.
Yep. We
large
talked, Steve. We
cities.
seriously talked about that on the
SGU
ship.
Lake Cruise.
Yeah.
It's a much smaller
That'd be
ship,
pretty cool.
obviously,
River cruise,
but it's
Yeah.
from what I heard, it's all inclusive. I mean, everything is
All
basically
ships
taken
on
care
a
of.
level. I mean, I guess eventually.
Well,
Until
that's
they
good,
don't.
Bob. I'm glad you had fun.
Just do that one funny picture of
Oh,
Liz.
Oh, I didn't.
So there's a secret on the ship
Not anymore.
when there won't be a secret now, but when you disembark, you don't have to walk off the ship.
You jump in the water.
No.
You just fly off the. I didn't send that to myself. Hold on, let me send that to me.
They let you, zip line.
Rappel,
off.
nope. Good guess. Good guess.
Rappel?
You jump into a big like like a one of those things that people jump into when they or jump off a building. What do you call those? Like the
Net.
like the big those
Bouncy
big
house thing.
yeah like a
Oh,
bouncy house.
bouncy house. Yes. You jump into a bouncy house off the.
Are we waiting to see something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's sending, and then
Well,
I
let's
didn't
keep
send it
guessing,
to myself.
Steve.
Keep thinking.
All right. Do they
it's
have
a-
like a fireman's pole? I guess that's
Getting
no.
closer.
No.
No.
It's not a pole. It's not a zip line. It's not like just a net you fall into.
Is it a slide? How about a big
slide?
Big slide. Okay.
my God, I just
Pool
snorted.
of Jello pudding, maybe. Jello pudding.
Did they have it was like a roller coaster that takes you off the boat?
Is it one of those
right,
stair
fine, here.
chairs that you sit in and then you move down?
Here. We
Nope.
got it. We got it.
They've got transporters. So they basically Star Trek style transported us out, and there's the transporter. Obviously, this is a stupid joke. That's a shower. It was such a cool shower, just a shower for one that I would love to put in my house because we don't have a good shower like that. We got one of those tub showers,
I wouldn't
which is
think
fine.
That's a good shower.
I love it.
No,
I love that shower.
that shower. If I tried to use that shower, anytime I bent over the slightest, my ass and my head would hit the sides of that thing.
Yeah, bending over. Liz and I are tiny, so we're
have to
good.
work
I
vertically.
love it because this would fit in it literally would fit in our
Speaking
very,
of
very
the
small
cross
bathroom.
section of Star Trek technology
And
and
cruise
one
ships?
person units,
Uh-huh.
on Star Trek Lower Decks, they had hollow pods
Yes.
for one person.
Yes.
I'm like, why aren't there 50 of those on every starship?
Yeah.
They're very. Why you don't need a giant hollow? You have one person on a giant holotech.
How big is it?
complete
How big is it?
Waste.
How big is a
How big is
holopod?
it?
It's just big enough for one person to be in there and move around. It's a single person only
Okay.
And you will
holodeck.
never know while you're in there that you're in a confined space.
Well, I
No, you
mean,
can't know. It's a holodeck, so it feels like you're in the universe.
so
you know?
basically, if you're moving, walking, or running, it's moving.
Yeah.
It's moving everything underneath you. But you would need a certain amount of
you need to be
square
able to
footage.
move around. But that's it. It's just a pod that's big enough for one person to be in there.
That is a really good
Yeah.
idea.
You don't need any more than that for a solo person, and it's so efficient in terms of the space. Like having a massive holodeck is a waste.
Definitely a waste.
Unless you're having multiple people.
Right.
in there.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
All right, so let's look at some fun stuff before we get to some the depressing stuff. Here we go. Today I learned if undercooked, a popular mushroom in China causes Lilliputian hallucinations, a rare phenomenon involving miniature human or fantasy figures. The hallucinations are consistent across people and cultures. Tiny elf-like people climbing under doors, scaling walls, and clinging to
That
furniture.
sounds like complete bullshit.
I
no,
love
that's
that.
real.
Crazy?
That is 100%
I
real.
love that. I want to
wait, so
experience
that one mushroom will give people the same
It
hallucinations.
is a. There are certain
Specific
hallucinogenics.
part of the brain.
This is like an ER thing, right? Like
Yeah.
if somebody comes in, they have Lilliputian syndrome, where everything, like they think everyone is like small. I forget the drug, but there's a specific drug. That
Oh.
mushroom is one source of that drug.
Oh, so if I were looking at you, you would be
Yes.
Lilliputian. It
You
wouldn't be-
think everyone else around you is Lilliputian.
And their voices change too.
No, I think more visual hallucination.
So that's weird when it's wearing off, people will start growing.
Not well. I don't
They
know.
probably just
That's
snap
necessarily
back to
true.
reality.
It's it's just a distortion in your construction of reality.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
it's-
So it's from a Lanmao asiatica, which is like I guess that's the type of mushroom in Asiatica, obviously.
But what's the drug
Asia.
itself?
I think they're still looking into the drug. They said that they're investigating, cases that emerged in the 1990s, mushroom madness, as they called it, and also in Papua New Guinea. So there probably is similar. Let me see if there's. All the vendors said that specific type of mushroom was what they were using, so they weren't.
But that
Cooking
is a
enough.
known phenomenon. And it is,
Yeah, and
it
it's
is a
not
result of
psilocybin,
hallucinogenics.
apparently.
It's not psilocybin.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of that video technique where you
Yeah.
video things at a specific like.
No,
it's
it's focus.
Is it? Yeah. How,
You have a
what's-
very narrow focus, right, rather than a long focus. So you're taking a picture of a huge landscape or a huge, like a cityscape, but you're focused only on a very narrow area, so everything else gets progressively blurred, and it makes everything look tinker toy, like you're looking at a tiny,
yeah.
something tiny.
It's
It's unbelievably
it's
effective.
ridiculously
effective.
convincing that these are just toys. And
Yeah.
These are like real people and machinery.
All right, somebody messaged us in from last week. You may remember that we had a man-looking comment, live stream comment. So the person commented or emailed us after commenting that my wife calls what Jay was describing on the live stream as man-looking. I gave her a call and told her that I got the guys in the studio to stream to laugh and for her to tune in. She actually introduced me to your podcast when we met first 8 years ago. After watching the recording, she replied, "You mean I made the guys on the SGU stream laugh. I conceded defeat." Hopefully y'all can get some mileage out of the phrase the next time your significant other teases you about not being able to find something right in front of your eyes. So that's pretty fun.
That's
That is
and
pretty
it's
awesome.
pretty universal.
It's a great comment. Man looking or
Or man vision.
man vision. Man vision.
Jeremy here saying Disney cruises are 10 out of 10.
Are they?
I think I'd love to go on a Disney cruise, but
Uh-oh.
I think the fact that when I'm done with it, I think I'd say that was fine and all, but a Disney park, if you're going to do Disney, you can't beat the parks. And doing it on a boat, I think, would be a lot of money for.
that's like just a warm up to get down there.
Yeah,
the
ideally, I
park?
guess you could take a Disney cruise
To
to a
Orlando?
Disney park. Would that be the ultimate Disney?
I mean, isn't that?
So we didn't give context in man looking.
Oh
is,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't watch the stream every week?
Jay was telling a story
Stylus?
like he was looking for something, couldn't find it, and he told his wife, and his wife literally reached out and grabbed it. It was
And,
right in
and,
front
and to
of
my
him.
perception, it looked like it appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And this happens all the time. I mean, it's remarkable.
It's like situational
Remarkable?
blindness
It's like-
or whatever you call it. I don't even know.
I don't know. It's like my brain actually doesn't want me to see the thing I'm looking for. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all expectation.
Inattentional blindness.
Yeah, but it's
Inattentional,
all
that's what it
expectation. You're not sure what you're looking for, so yeah, inattentional blindness comes into play, and
Okay.
it's like sometimes you got to say, what does it look like? What am I? You have them describe.
But if you think
color
it's
and
different,
shape.
yeah, if you think it's something, if you're looking for something else, then you really will
Yeah.
edit out anything.
Yep, even
that's
if it
not within
says
your
on the side,
expectations.
this is what you're looking for, Jay, you will absolutely miss it
Yeah.
if you're not expecting it to be that
So
shape and
you
color.
guys were talking about axolotls, right? Or maybe about limbs
Yes,
regrowing,
regeneration, yeah.
regeneration. Somebody sent us in this video, which is pretty cute.
They're the kings of.
Oh my god. David, can you come here for a minute?
Oh no. Emily, what did you do to your gills?
I found scissors.
Give me those. These are not toys.
Emily, where's your baby brother? Oh my god.
It's fine. It's just his arms and a leg. They'll grow back.
But we're taking pictures tomorrow.
No problem. We'll just, There. Now they're evened out.
Mazel tov.
That's his foot, Emily.
Anyway,
Who invented scissors?
little cute axolotl.
Who invented scissors?
Do we know?
Lesbians?
Okay, Jay. Jay,
It's a joke.
you're a joke.
Okay.
Somebody
just kidding.
famous.
So we really live in a world where we can't.
I'm kidding. I messing.
I heard
with
this
you.
today
Thank you.
from a radio call-in show, and it surprised me.
Dr.
Da
Scissors.
Vinci.
That
Oh,
doesn't
did he?
surprise me at all.
Like they didn't have shears before Da Vinci.
They had to have shears.
Maybe.
But there is a difference
don't
between
know.
shears and scissors.
Yeah.
Are there though? Is it just size? Are shears just big scissors?
Well, but the applications change. When you have a pair of scissors, you use it for very different things than you would.
Maybe
So they
the
had
modern-
shears, but nobody thought to make smaller ones for other applications.
I guess
I
not.
get-
With
They
places
did.
for your
Somebody
fingers
had
to
to
go
be
in.
The first.
There are some things like I saw in some place a joke like who invented the chair? It's like you can never, there is no one person who invented the chair.
Jesus.
It
Oh,
kind of
jeez.
evolved.
Yeah, it says Leonardo is often credited, but he didn't invent them.
Yeah,
he
he's
might
cr-
have made them better a little bit, but
Grimbeard, that doesn't
woman on the
surprise me
radio show
because
lied?
She's
Every
a
joke you
liar.
tell, I laugh. So I think we share a sense
The
of
thing
humor.
is,
So we don't know really for sure?
keep it inside. Well, it says it's evolved over like centuries, like hundreds of years.
of
like,
course,
there are like
but things tend to attach to famous people.
Yeah.
Quotes, inventions, whatever ideas. People just say, "Oh, this one guy I actually know. He must have done it."
well, one guy, Robert Hinchcliffe, produced the first steel scissors in 1761. So that's like
All right.
certain manufacturers.
Yeah.
that
Opposed
makes
to-
more sense. But
So
like,
why did you just say it was Da Vinci then?
Because
They said it on there.
It's
I
often
heard it.
attributed to Da Vinci, but
Yeah,
it's
it
not,
is.
yeah, I heard it on a
Very
radio
common.
show today.
Okay.
not true.
Not accurate. All right, let's get to some of the annoying stuff.
Sorry,
I'm going to
Silac.
jump over some stuff.
Just causing
We're going to do
problems.
some RFK math.
Sweet mother of Christ, this guy. Oh,
This
God, I
guy.
can't
Okay,
take
so let's
it.
do a little calculating of percentages. Do you guys know how percentages work? Uh-huh.
What is this new math?
This is new math, not woke math, not that Common Core math. Is this the one actually where?
On a wellness farm.
Oh no, this is the
Oh,
reparenting
she lays
thing.
into him.
Before we
Nice.
get to that, I just want to say,
Yeah, right.
if if your type of math disagrees with everyone else and like nobody understands what you're saying, your math is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's consistent. If you're communicating to a country and they don't understand what you're saying, which by the way, this is just retroactively fixing how stupid he is.
Yeah,
Well, I think he's retconning what Donald Trump said.
right.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
He's not.
Right.
Imagine
and
being able to
He does that in many contexts. There was just another video I was watching that you sent, Ian, about RFK trying to defend
Yep.
what Trump is doing with regard to glyphosate, which is actually not. I actually agree with Trump on this one, but
Yeah,
he.
That's a horrible sentence.
but the point is that this goes against everything RFK has said in his life. You know, he's sort of anti-glyphosate, but now he's like, but because Trump said, "Oh, we have to bring back this production to the U.S." You know.
All right, let's look at the.
Anyway, he
so
can't
this is
like
the math
he can't
thing.
criticize Trump, so he's got to like
course.
feed, dance around
Mental
these things.
gymnastics.
We'll do that one too here. Why is it?
You don't have to do that.
I was reminded when the president was speaking of a conversation that I had yesterday
AI.
with one of the Democratic senators who was questioning me during the hearing, and
it's
she
AI.
was
It's like an
ridiculing
AI.
President Trump for his
You wanna
math,
hear it?
and she was saying it's mathematically impossible to have a drug drop by 600% cost, which he had claimed.
He's just.
And I said, well, if the drug was $100 and it raised the price of $600, that would be a 600% increase.
Would that be a 600% increase? From
Yeah,
100
to
to
600.
That'd be a 500%
Thank
increase.
you. Very good. So he was wrong on that. Now let's
Very-
go
very
on.
smart,
If it
Steve.
drops from 600 to 100, TAS, that's a 600% saving.
Is that a 600% savings from 600 to 100?
Well, savings is
Is
first of all,
vague.
you could argue
That's
it's a
right.
500% savings,
Right.
but you're saving 500% of the new cost, which doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's not the way we communicate.
That would be what would that
like
be?
83%.
80, yeah, something
Something
percent
like that. 'cause
savings.
It's like a, yeah.
They're just using it wrong. They're just
Right.
doing it wrong. Just fucking own up to it rather than trying to retcon every stupid thing
No,
that
because
Trump
children
says.
can't admit when they're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been the whole presidency.
Anyway, that was a thing that we didn't get to talk about from last week because it happened in between those because a million things happened in between. Whatever the fuck is happening. Okay. Anyway, let's do the
500.
glyphosate thing.
500.
We're
I can't help myself.
Glyphosate. Here we
Wait,
go.
that's all we're going to say about Trump this
Does
week?
glyphosate?
No. There's
Yeah.
many more. I'm going to do the RFK stuff first, and then we're going to do
Okay.
the conspiracy stuff because there's a whole thing.
Say cause cancer.
Yes.
This is not Senator Murphy, by the way. This is what the hell is his name? Senator Brian Schatz.
Okay, go ahead.
Just the
Is
angle
it
of the camera
healthy
has
for
a
Yeah,
people
like Senator Murphy's over here. Like, so he's like, his nameplate is actually
Yeah.
over here. But it's a poorly angled
to
camera.
be around?
Or whatever.
Can't hear it.
I would say no. It's not healthy for them to consume.
Is it safe to use?
You mean safe, or does it kill weeds? It kills weeds.
That's effective,
And,
you asshole. Not
Is it
safe.
safe for humans to use?
I would say it's important to minimize consumption of glyphosate as much as possible.
You are being uncharacteristically diplomatic about glyphosate. I'll just say it that way.
I don't think I'm being diplomatic. I just said it caused cancer, which
Okay, fair enough.
kills people.
I got a lot of friends back in Hawaii who supported you because of issues such as this. And they were hurt, shocked, confused when you were explicitly in favor of Trump's executive order. And I'll just quote you in a tweet. I support President Trump's executive order to bring agricultural chemical production back to the United States and end our near total reliance on adversarial nations. I'm just wondering, what would you say to those folks who were kind of animated by this idea that we are too reliant on these dangerous chemicals? And then the president does a thing. And obviously you and the president are not generally always on the same page about everything. But this seemed like an opportunity for you to really stand up for your agenda, especially given your successful litigation in this space. And so just wanted to give you a chance to speak to those people back home who are very animated by glyphosate, but also the rest of the sort of agenda around reducing our exposure to toxic chemicals.
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked that question. I was very clear with the president about my own displeasure with the executive order. The president felt it was necessary for national security reasons. Actually, the proposal came from the Pentagon.
All right, that's all that he goes into. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go into
Well, I mean, I think like whatever. RFK is a pseudoscientist. The guy's a crank. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He spent his career as a lawyer fear mongering about stuff so he could make millions of dollars suing people about it.
Right.
And that's his career as an environmentalist as well. He never says anything that is couched in reasonable scientific like logic or terminology. Like with glyphosate, it's a trade-off, right? It is not 100% benign at any dose. Almost nothing is. The question is there any demonstrable risk at the doses that it is used, right? So for the average consumer,
Like if they're spraying their front walk with glyphosate.
well, like if you're, so you could say like that's one use, like if you're spraying your lawn with it or you're spraying your walkway with it. But there's also farmers are using it, and so you're getting trace amounts on your food. So is the amount that we're getting in the food, is that a health risk? And usually, the EPA and the USDA and whatever, the FDA, they build in at least one, if not two orders of magnitude of a safety margin that the cumulative dose that the average person is getting should be at least one or more orders of magnitude less than a dose that is known to cause any risks. But then there's the farm workers, right? So who are spraying it, they get a much higher dose than the consumer does. So that is like the canary in the coal mine, right? So if they're having if they're not having any negative effect, it's probably safe for anybody else. If they are, then we have to say, okay, well, is there enough of a dose for other uses? Well, first of all, we need to protect those workers, right? And that's really mainly a job for OSHA. That's based not so much about the toxicity of the chemical, because lots of industries use lots of toxic chemicals. It's about, are they using it properly? Are they well ventilated? Are they well wearing the right garments? Are they having enough safety? But the big question with really only the farm workers using glyphosate, right, who have like massively more of an exposure than the average consumer, is the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, right? And so there's mixed evidence, but on the whole, the evidence really is negative. So that hasn't been demonstrated either. Even though that's the only thing for which you could say, oh, maybe there was some evidence of it. But I think the bottom line is that the studies which showed a connection didn't control for other pesticides, and the ones that did not show any correlation. So that's where that evidence is. So, but at the most, you could say we need to make sure that farm workers using glyphosate are protected well enough, or are wearing the right protective equipment, breather masks, etc. That's pretty much it. You also have to say now the trade-offs are, all right, so what if we farm with other pesticides? All other pesticides that could potentially replace glyphosate are far worse than glyphosate. Glyphosate is an extraordinarily safe herbicide. Or what if we farm without herbicides? Good luck feeding the world without herbicides. You're basically not going to do it.
Yeah.
You would have to, first of all, hire many, many more people to essentially pull weeds, which is not good for the soil. It's actually bad for carbon release. And is very labor intensive, would dramatically increase
I'm laughing at
the cost of food. So anyway, it's just like
can't help myself.
there is no specific.
I read the sentence.
I know.
And I didn't know it was a joke.
Keep it inside.
I didn't know it was a joke until the very end. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, oh, shit. I got it. And it was good. It got me. Okay.
All right, Steve. What else?
Steve, I'm sorry.
So anyway, that's that.
So summary is don't drink it.
Of course, you should.
Right? Don't like.
There's tons of stuff that we have in our daily lives that you shouldn't drink.
But for those people who are the average consumer who's using it around their house, bopping around, spraying shit, like it's.
I mean, if you're using it as an herbicide, use it safely, right? Well ventilated area.
I have an anecdote on that.
If you're worried about your fruits and vegetables, wash them.
Yeah.
They're safe, but wash them if you're concerned about.
I have one experience with glyphosate and in Roundup.
Yeah.
Mom had some weeds in her back porch, in between the stones coming up. So not a big surface area.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, Roundup, I'll use that. That's good shit.
Don't eat
I
Tide Pods.
bought it, brought it home, read the documentation, and I hid it away. It was so scary. Reading those instructions, it was so scary.
It's all CYA.
I'm like, why would I use this, especially for a small area? I put it away, like out of her reach, where she could never get it, because it was scary shit. All that documentation, everything that you need to do, following the instructions, was like, it's not worth it. I'll rather go on my knees and pull up the weeds than go through that.
But Bob, that's all cover your ass.
It is.
That's because they're getting sued, so they have to say, well, used as directed, it's safe. No one's going to do all that stuff, so that basically means you cannot.
But I didn't know what not to do and what to take seriously and what not to
wear
take.
gloves, wear a mask. Just
Well,
spray it away from you outside.
Wasn't even worth it.
Yeah.
Just ignored it because it was only $10. I was like, I'm not using this shit. It's just like not worth it.
and we also just need to invest more into research to find safer, better chemicals. Better ways of doing these things. But in general, because I don't know how much more we're going to talk about RFK, but I've been catching a lot of Congress interviewing him and getting information out of him, and it is utterly bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, he will flat out lie about what he believes.
I have another one for that. But before we move on, what do you think of his approach, the senators? Because he's kind of doing the hypocrisy hunting.
Yeah.
But then he's also kind of, kowtowing to the
buying the premise.
Buying the premise, right? That
Yeah.
like in Hawaii, they're very concerned about it. But does the hypocrisy change the people's minds in Hawaii? Or if you come out and say the actual science, will that make them more likely to hate you as the senator because you're agreeing with Trump and anti-RFK and their premise? Like, how do you skirt that line? Or did you just go, we got to talk about the science? It's like, should these senators be like, this is what the science says?
You could do both.
You
could say this is what the science says, but this is what you've said. Now you're doing this.
Right. So you got to. Yeah.
He didn't do a good job. I
It
mean,
was a little too.
Yeah.
When you hear so many other
He lost me. It's like,
unbelievably talented politicians who really know how to get to it, and also ask the right questions in the right way. Like this guy was just meandering.
Yeah,
and
a little
didn't really.
Yeah, not very effective.
and in this day and age, you got to have a good soundbite, right? You could have a pithy
Unfortunately,
takedown.
That's true. All right, let's get on to another RFK thing. So here he is talking about Alzheimer's.
Switching the trajectory so that we're going to really focus narrowly on chronic disease, ending the chronic disease epidemic, and then we're going to make sure that the science cannot be corrupted. At every scientific study is replicated. At the raw data for those studies is published. At the peer review for those studies is published. And we're going to focus on making sure that we get to younger scientists rather than the old boys network. And I could talk to you about scientific corruption all day long, about horror stories that we know have happened within NIH. One of those, probably the worst, is the amyloid plaque scandal. For 20 years, we were, because of utter corruption and fraud, we were directing Alzheimer's research to one hypothesis, and any other hypothesis was shut down. We should have the cure for Alzheimer's today. We don't have it purely because of corruption at NIH.
Ms.
And we
Frankel.
are going to have it quickly.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, so like as is often the case, there is a kernel of truth there, which he is then parlaying into this conspiracy theory and utterly false claim. We were just talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Yes, there was one researcher who was faking his amyloid research, and it was exposed and expunged from the literature. But that's not the only reason that researchers were interested in amyloid. We're interested in amyloid because it is definitely part of Alzheimer's disease. Amyloid plaques are one of the really solid pathological findings in Alzheimer's, and other forms of research were not shut down. There is definitely the anti-amyloid contingent of researchers pursuing other things. There's lots of other things to pursue in Alzheimer's and that are being pursued. The idea that we would have a cure today were it not for this one fraud is ridiculous. It clearly shows he has no idea what he's talking about.
Or he just is-
he just loves the story of corruption and we're going to
Yeah.
have a cure.
I
blah,
think
blah,
he,
blah.
I think he deliberately finds those alleyways to go
Of
down
course.
and all that shit. It's you can't say he's just a true believer in
No,
stupid.
he's a lawyer. He makes a lawyer's case for things. And not that I'm not making a negative statement about lawyers. I'm saying lawyers have this certain thing that they do. They operate within a system. Their job is to make a case for something, not to fairly, like they'll never admit points on the other side. That's not their job. But that's what scientists should do. And they often do. This is the strengths and weaknesses of our own theory. They try to shoot down their own theory. Lawyers don't try to shoot down their own defendant's case or whatever, their own case. That's not their job. So he functions like an attorney. He picks a side and he makes a case for that side. And his side is always there's corruption, you can't trust experts. It's always the environment.
And
It's
he'll
always
say
bad.
anything.
He'll say anything.
He'll pull anything out to try to make his point. And when
He has no idea what the Alzheimer's research is like and what's going on. Again, the simplistic narrative of we would have a cure if it wasn't for this corruption, and like other lines of research were shut down. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That is just so obviously not true to anybody with any knowledge of the research. Again, I'm a neurologist for I just retired after 30 years. I've had 30 years of following this story as an expert, listening to experts to grand rounds, following the research. This narrative that he's now retconning for the whole thing is bullshit. It's such bullshit.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to another topic. Trump fires NSB.
I don't even
Talk
want
about
to
this
talk about
one
this.
a little bit.
The
I don't
board of
think
the
we're
National
gonna talk
Science
about it on
Foundation.
the episode tonight, but or tomorrow. Did you write about this at all anywhere?
No.
Like, I didn't see it yet.
Not
Okay.
yet.
Not yet, but it's coming. So yeah, multiple sources are reporting. This kind of got buried because of some other happenings over the weekend. That the Trump admin has dismissed the entire National Science Board. The NSB advises the president and Congress on National Science Foundation, which has already been funding research at historically low levels and has seen significant delays in doling out that funding. So is this good for science, Steve?
No, just arbitrarily purging experts and scientists from regulatory boards.
Yeah.
No, this is part of his overall attack on science and the funding of science and scientific research.
So how disastrous is this long term? Like, is this a thing that can be fixed after the midterms, or is this oh God?
Now this is all these things are generational damage. So it's not like just flipping a switch. People who get fired from positions like this, they go into other things. All right, they'll go to other countries if they're a researcher and you're getting funded somewhere else, or they'll go into the private industry or whatever. You lose them generally. A lot of people who are civil servants or that are experts are doing it because they care about the work that they're doing. They're like, all right, I'm going to get paid a tenth of what I can get paid in the private industry. You know, you become disillusioned. You take a higher paying job in industry. You're not going to fucking come back. You're not going to give up your good. You're like, screw those guys. What am I going to be? You know, now you feel like every time there's a change in the administration, my whole career is going to be up for grabs. It's so destabilizing. So it's a matter of first you have to rebuild this sort of institutional knowledge, this sort of institutional expertise. That takes a generation. You have to rebuild trust. That takes, a generation or more. This is a decades-long process to undo the damage that you could do in a very short amount of time.
Did he try to justify this move? I mean, what did he even?
I haven't done a deep dive on this yet. I don't know. There's a lot out there yet about what's really going on behind the scenes there, but it's just part of a pattern of. These people aren't telling me what I want to hear, or they're not towing the party line. Let's just purge all the experts so I can put my toadies in, right? Yeah. This is exactly what RFK did at the CDC, for example. Just purged the vaccine committee and just put in a bunch of anti-vaxxers.
This is like the fucking worst version of reality I can imagine.
Yeah, we're on the wrong timeline. Do you think there's something amendment-wise we could do long-term for science? Is there a possibility of being like the freedom of science or something like that?
It is hard to build a system that has enough sort of freedom to function that controls for individuals who are disingenuous, who are trying to destroy it or subvert it, right? I mean, it's always a balance between flexibility and resilience. And
what happened?
Are we still going?
Yeah, it's still going. It's just
all right. Yeah, we're having some signal issues in the studio.
Me too, Brent. I'm sitting right next to him.
I think that you could, we definitely need to build in more resilience so that it's harder for one executive to make these kind of sweeping changes. But the problem is, for some of these things, there are checks and balances in place, but he's just ignoring them. And it's hard to control for that.
But the government doesn't have any teeth. That's the problem.
But it does, but they're just choosing not to use it. So
who's choosing not to use it?
The Republican Congress. That's the problem, is that if the Congress is not using the levers of power they have to keep the executive branch in check, and the justices, the Supreme Court is just handing the executive branch, the unitary executive, then the checks and balances are not working. So how do you design checks and balances for that, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that you can't. You can't have a rational government without rational people.
Of course.
And so this, ultimately it gets back to the voters, right? The bottom line is the American voter put Trump in for a second term knowing full well what he was all about.
Yep.
And there's just no escaping that. And the world absolutely took notice of that.
Mm-hmm.
You could sort of forgive the first time around.
It's
It's an anomaly.
Yep.
It's a one-time thing. But because we did it a second time, the rest of the world's like, fuck these
you.
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing.
Deserved.
And whatever. So this is what happens. And you're reading a lot of interviews and surveys and people who are disillusioned Trump voters who's like, oh, I'm really disappointed by Trump. And it's like, all right, I mean, welcome to the club. But part of me is like, also, fuck you. You 100% should have known this was coming. Yep. And it was absolute civics, malpractice to vote for this guy. Because you thought he was going to lower the price of eggs? That's the reason why you put this guy in charge of America? That's on you. That is on you 100%.
Look, you have to be stupid to have missed it. That's it.
Not stupid, just
it's
like
close
not
enough,
paying attention.
Close
well,
enough.
I think a lot of these people were low information voters. That's just not a bias on my part. This is what the information shows.
Yeah.
They were low information voters that didn't consume a lot of news. Yeah. They were basing it on very few pieces of information. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. They voted for this guy without doing minimal due diligence, without doing their civic duty to make sure they weren't voting for somebody like Trump. And now to say, oh, who could have known that he would be this way? Come on.
Yeah, to say who could have known.
Half the country
literally knew. Yeah, more than that.
Yeah.
But even with that minimal information, Steve, even that should have been enough, even with the minimal information that these people
I'm talking
are describing.
really minimal. They're like, oh, he says that we're going to bring down prices. That's good enough for me.
I mean,
Let's
Bob,
give him a chance.
they're living in a reality where the prices are horrible. Gas prices, food prices, healthcare. You know, I literally, if you gave me 10 minutes, I can list 100 things that were these blazing, flashing red lights.
They're just not paying attention.
That they are not even aware of. And even though they're spending $4.50 on gasoline, they're still supporting him. They're
Some are.
idiots.
Yeah, but it's not idiot. It's like sunk cost fallacy. It's like, what are you going to do? You have to change your whole
Well, first of all, I think
worldview
a
about
lot
yourself.
of the people who
Yeah.
flipped to Trump in 2024 have snapped back because they're disappointed.
Yeah.
The core, MAGA, people, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they'll probably stay for a
So,
very
I
long
mean,
time.
but Ian, if we look at it,
Orange Jesus to them. Like,
I have not seen any representation of any persistent MAGA supporter who comes off in any way intelligent.
Yeah, that's not true. I mean,
Go
everybody
ahead,
has.
change my mind.
There's plenty of people who are intelligent. They just fall for the charlatan. Like Trump is a magnificent orator, even though he sounds like shit to us. He can lie better than anybody else on the planet, and people suck it up. Like, and that's that.
He's a con
It's your
man.
fault for falling for it to a degree, but he is a con man, so it's the con man's fault the most.
But at this point, Ian, what I'm saying is, sure, I can understand people falling for a con. I can understand people, going through this process where they got kind of sucked in or whatever. But like, holy shit, man!
I know,
There's
I
more
know, it's
data points than
frustrating.
you could possibly imagine, and you have to be willfully fucking ignorant at this point.
I don't think
And I'm sorry,
willfully.
but if you're that level of willfully ignorant, I'm going to label you as stupid.
yeah, but that's not helpful.
right, let's
And
go to
also
a
it doesn't-
I
Yeah,
don't care. I'm not
political
even
issue
talking. I don't even talk to Trump supporters anymore. I,
know, but it's
literally
not
tell
how-
them
okay,
now.
whatever.
I don't care what you think. I don't want to hear from you anymore. Let the adults move from here. Just don't fucking contribute to our discussions.
It's
about
fine
Trump.
if they want to come to our side and be like, okay, I fucked up. It's like, good, you fucked up. Stand in the back. Listen to what we have to say. We'll help you. We're moving
Learn
forward.
from this
Learn
experience.
from this experience.
why
we
do
don't want to. We don't want to dismiss them as stupid because
It's complicated,
easy.
more complicated than
It's
you're
easy,
saying,
yeah.
Jay. Yes, it's on them that they allowed themselves to be low information voters. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yes,
there
it's
are
on them
structural problems for
that
that.
they are in an information bubble and not seeking any other information.
He is a brilliant orator.
But we
if you
generally
don't
do
like it,
not
but he is.
blame the victims of a con artist.
Yeah.
Because a lot, you know what I mean? Because that's on the con artist. And
That
they
makes
and
him
we
good.
do, the system, our media system is broken.
Yeah.
We do not, have the kind of
I get
fair
it.
and
I get
balanced
you,
press
Steve,
that we
but
really
we-
need to have a functional
We
democracy.
have to hold people responsible for the decisions that they make.
Yeah, I'm saying they
voters-
Now,
are
look, if
responsible.
they want to go out and make a bad choice on what they're going to eat
but it's
for
not
dinner,
as simple as they're stupid.
But
there's a
but
social media effect. There's a
I'm
there's
aware
an
of all
information
that,
bubble
but
effect.
in general, I'm
There's
just
a Fox
telling you
News effect.
observationally, and I look, put it out to I don't know how many people are listening today, but when I'm out in the wild, social media, in the
Yeah.
real world, whatever, and I see who the current collection of MAGA supporters are, they're fucking stupid.
No.
That's what's left.
But what do
They've
you
been-
mean?
They've fallen into the
What
trap.
I mean is they are low level thinkers. They
In
literally.
general, or just in this one area?
I
I don't think it's true in general. I
Yeah,
don't think
I
they're
agree.
less
It's not-
intelligent.
no,
I
they're
think
not less intelligent.
they've
That's the
bought
problem.
into the con, and now they're trying to justify the con, right? And so yes,
Because
you,
it's painful
You
to-
will sound
I-
stupid
why are we
when
afraid
you
of the
fall
word
down a
stupid?
rabbit hole, and then you have to
Stupid- What does
retcon
stupid
it.
actually mean? I'm not
Because
t-
it doesn't help us get them on our side.
I'm not,
If we
get
constantly,
them on our side.
Because
Ian, have you been paying attention?
I don't care about the Nazis being on our side.
There
I'm not
is no-
talking about the Nazis. I'm talking about the people who realize that their life sucks under certain systems and that there is not a lot of help on the left, quote unquote, that is not there to support them. We want them to have health care too, even if he's a fucking
course we do. I'm
Nazi.
not saying
But
that.
calling them stupid either puts them out of the system or doesn't want to engage and doesn't want to.
It doesn't really address,
I have
doesn't
been-
identify or
I
address
put-
the
doesn't
actual
identify the
issue.
problem.
I put a decade into trying to bring people back from that abyss. No amount of nicety, critical thinking skills,
You don't
giving
know
them
that
giving them
entirely.
evidence.
You don't know that entirely. It takes a long ass time, like Steve says. It's not going to switch on a dime. That's not going to switch on Facebook.
They're changing their
Everybody's an
minds,
asshole.
Ian, not because of what we've been saying, but because they're seeing it for themselves
Right,
for the
but then they'll
first
fall
fucking
into
time.
what we're saying. They'll
For-
fall into what we say, and they'll be like, "Oh shit, he was right the whole time."
But
Or they'll see.
I don't even understand your point.
I'm saying that we don't push people away. Like the whole like deplorables thing that
Yeah.
Clinton ran on.
Yeah.
It was
It's fucking
disastrous.
stupid.
It was
They're not
stupid.
deplorable. They're hurting. We need to help these people get health care. They know. We know the same. We know the things on the left.
Yeah, you're right. We have to
what
save them
do.
from
We have
themselves.
to save them
You're
from
damn
themselves,
right.
but we have to be kind about it and
But-
not be like, you're a fucking idiot and you should have known better, you dumb bitch.
I'm
Like,
telling you guys this.
I know, but they hear you out there in the wild. I'm saying, like, don't label the cigarette smoker as like, okay, well, you died from cancer. Fuck off. Like, I don't care that you have cancer now because you smoked.
But that's
It's
a
like,
personal
not-
thing. It's an order of magnitude more serious than that. If a,
Yeah, I know,
if a
it's
person wants
hyperbolic,
to
sure,
smoke, fine, go kill yourself.
Yeah, but I want them to get health care if they get cancer. I don't want them to die of cancer.
I do too. But the point is, these decisions that were made, them burying their heads in the sand, had an impact on the world.
I agree, but we had
We had 75 million people affect 8 billion fucking people.
I know.
So I get to call them fucking stupid.
Yeah, but it doesn't help us.
I
It
don't-
doesn't help our
Nothing helps
position.
us. Look at the position we're in. They're turning away from Trump because they can't afford to fucking live anymore. They don't give a fuck
but
what
we
we
have
say.
to give them the other option.
They can suck my dick. That's
like-
where I'm at.
No, but like Steve says, you have to give them an alternative.
we
viewpoint.
tried. It didn't work.
No, we
it's
didn't.
not
give them-
working.
Kamala Harris is not an alternative viewpoint.
We
I'm sorry.
tried, Ian. I love you. We tried.
No, we didn't try enough.
We were trying to talk to them.
There's never a stopping of trying. It goes on and on and on and on and on until we're like crazy.
They're just going to crawl back into the darkness and
No,
pretend
they're
like they
not.
never voted for Trump. You think that there's ever going to be a day of reckoning? The
Yes.
only reckoning that we're going to get
Yes, we
at
all
all
have a day of
is if
reckoning.
some brilliant group of politicians decide to hold these motherfuckers accountable.
I love that.
Right.
Yes.
But
Hold
the,
them
but the
accountable.
average
I love
idiot
that.
voter that decided to completely numb themselves out to fucking reality.
There are more
and
of us than there are of them.
I know, but they're out there.
I know, but we got to help them not be.
We
like,
are.
so
We're going to
fucking-
help them by winning the midterms.
In part, yeah.
All they need to do is nothing. That's all they need to do.
Sure.
Just continue being the racist pieces of shit that
But
they
that's
are.
part of the problem.
And they
Like,
can
don't-
go
we
right
don't
back.
need to go on
They'll
to the
get their
racist-
health care back. The fucking
All
gasoline
right, brother,
prices
you
will go
are
down.
massively oversimplifying
Yes,
this
it's
issue.
too simple.
Well,
You
how
gotta-
much
I know
detail
you're
do
getting
you want to get
emotional.
into? How much detail do you
You're
want to get
getting
into?
emotional.
You want to go into more detail? I am emotional.
But the point
I know,
is,
it's good to be emotional,
It's
but like,
meaningless to just label them stupid because that's a vague term. It doesn't really mean anything specific, and it doesn't capture
can
what's
think what he
actually
wants.
happening out there in the world.
Yeah.
There's multiple things
I
going
mean, really,
on.
is this all about my use of the word stupid?
it's
But
just-
that word
it's too-
reflects your thinking on
It
the
reminds
issue.
me when Trump says low IQ. That's
All right, so
exactly
what
the implication.
What is a word that we
right?
can use that represents the following? Okay, and I'm dead serious. It's going to sound like I'm trying to be a jerk, but let's really do it. I want to do this exercise. Okay, so we have a very large group of people who
30% maybe.
completely isolated themselves to very few data sources to the degree where, first off, they never questioned Trump. They never questioned him, or to a degree that would mean anything, that would move the needle in any way. They bought into his tribalism. They bought into his allowing them to be horrible versions, or showing the horrible version of themselves that's on the inside. They did zero self-reflection or any kind of accountability to what's going on, day by day for the last year and a half. It's been an onslaught. This isn't like a president that did one really bad thing and that people are focusing on. This is like a get rid of this guy on a daily basis. He's doing shit every day that should strip him of his presidency, right? So they have to go on this epic path of ignoring all of the information that's out there, siloing themselves down to following him because he has given them a piece of identity that's important to them. That's the only thing that's keeping these guys in play at this point. Because nothing that he's doing, not one thing that he said that he was going to do that was going to make life better happened. So they're paying higher gas prices. A shitload of them lost. Let's say 50% of the people who lost their insurance were Republican, right? I mean, the information is there, Steve. It's hitting everybody in the
Now,
fucking
let me
face
give you a
every day.
different version of reality.
Wait, but I'm just saying to you. I'm just saying, like, this is what we're dealing. What's the word that we use for those people?
But what's
Well,
the, okay,
but
listen
you
to
but
it,
you
yeah.
have that's a very biased framing.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me now reframe it
Okay,
a
go
different
ahead.
way, because we have people who are living in a part of the country that was hollowed out by globalism because they
Okay.
were fucked over by both parties.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
got you.
Right?
Yeah, I don't
so
disagree.
now they're living with they lost their good job. They're maybe doing it the gig economy now, working their ass off for nothing. They're not getting by.
Mm-hmm.
Their rates of opioid addiction and other addictions are climbing.
Yep.
Their town has been hollowed out. There aren't really any good jobs. Their children don't really have any good prospects. Anybody who does get educated and good prospects moves somewhere else, right? So that's the situation they're living in.
Yep.
And now then they're being told, yeah, this is a problem because you were left behind by globalization and by all these other factors. And then Trump says, I'm going to fix that problem because we're going to prevent immigrants from coming in and taking your job.
Okay.
We're going to bring industry back to the United States. We're going to get rid of all of this. And then he demonizes a whole bunch of things like
Yep.
the green energy and all this stuff, and that aligns with everything they're seeing on their news channel or whatever right wing news
The
media
internet,
they're
probably.
looking at. That agrees with everyone in their community because they're mostly surrounded by people who are in the same situation, right? That agrees with the algorithms, what the algorithms are feeding them on social media.
I get
so
it.
they're living in an information world where that narrative is the 99 percenter.
Yep.
And anything else is those liberal elites who fucked you over in the first place trying to do it again. And then Hillary Clinton calls them deplorables, right? And
I got you.
so if you're living in that world and you have somebody who is a con man, Trump is a con man, and who expertly exploited that social phenomenon, is it any wonder that a lot of people fell for it?
I'm
I'm not letting them off the hook. I said, people, if
I'm
we're
not
all
saying
doing our
that-
civic duty, we should hold our politicians accountable, which they didn't do. We should, have standards that are irrespective of our political party. We shouldn't just vote for our team. We should look for other sources of information. All the stuff we talk about for everything. And yes, they weren't doing that, and that is on them. But they don't have to be unintelligent people to have fallen for the con. Given the situation they were in, given they were failed by the educational system, they were failed by the media, they were failed by the government for not regulating social media, they were failed pretty much every step of the way by both parties, and that's the situation that they're in. And now you're just going to 100% blame them as if they're 100% to blame, that there were no systemic factors at work. There's nothing for us to do except write them off as too stupid to even talk to anymore. That's not the solution. That wasn't the cause. You're misdiagnosing it. You're having an emotional reaction to talking to people who have already bought the con. They've already bought the con, and we know from every contact, once somebody's in the cult, it's too late. Once they're a flat earther, it's too
really
late.
difficult.
They're in the cult of Trump, and it's too late. But that doesn't mean that we give up on them or that we think that we say that they're stupid rather than this is a.
I mean, you guys
this
don't,
is
you
an
didn't
effect-
like my use of the word stupid.
but it's not just your use of the word, Jay. It's your entire framing of the issue. You're putting it entirely on them and you're ignoring all of the external factors. This is the fundamental attribution.
Steve, I'm completely aware of everything that you said, and I know the external factors.
and those are the ones that we can and should address.
I get it. I know, but without me saying that they're stupid, essentially in my mind is kind of what you're saying. Like, yeah, okay, these people who are you can't reach them. They are locked into this thing.
Which is pretty much true of anyone in any belief system, Jay.
I know.
Jay, how about willfully ignorant? Somebody mentioned willfully ignorant.
Willfully
That,
ignorant
I
is
think,
great.
is at
That's
least
great.
Which
That
is
is
also true
right.
of most people.
Would that have been any?
But-
Would that really change anything if I said stupid or willfully ignorant? Because
Yeah,
I think there are very.
You are reacting to an alleged internal factor, and because they're not necessarily. And I've spoken to many people who are MAGA zealots, who are otherwise intelligent, savvy people, to the point where I was shocked. I'm like, oh, okay, I thought you were an intelligent person, but they've carved out. They will not let it go. They've carved
Sacred
out their
cow.
sacred cow. Yeah.
But
what about the people? What's the percentage of people that aren't like it you're describing, Steve? But people that are essentially racist, homophobe douchebags
There's
that are now justified.
There's a part. There's a coalition here, right? So part of the coalition are just Republicans who will never give up on Team Republican, right? That's one part of the coalition.
Right.
And they may stay home, but they're not going to vote for a Democrat.
In or out of the cult, though.
They're out of the cult.
All right, so they're not stupid.
No,
So a team mentality, which you're not completely.
that's like everybody, Jay.
What?
That's
That's
most
tribalism.
people are. That's tribalism. That's human beings.
No, I get it.
The Democrats do it too. You just happen to agree with them. I'm just saying this is one part of the coalition.
I barely agree with the fucking Democrats too.
I feel safe saying that a lot of Democrats would never vote for a Democrat anywhere near Trump. We wouldn't do it. I think.
Well,
Why?
listen. Have we
Why?
had that test?
different.
How many
Test me.
Democrats defended Clinton when with the sex scandal? I mean, it's not the same level, order, of magnitude. I get it, and there are demographic differences. I'm not making a false equivalency statement here, but don't underestimate the degree to which tribalism is a human trait. It's not a
it is.
Republican
I
trait.
get it, but still, I contend.
But
that
Again, you're coming at it from the outside. The other component are low information voters, not college educated, who don't know what's going on, who just fell for the Trump con.
Yeah.
Right?
Steve, I can't help to say this, but it kind of sounds like you're describing what I define as stupidity.
Yeah, but it's not.
But that's a ridiculous use of that term. It's not very
Okay,
skeptical,
fine.
Jay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's
that
not stupidity.
I'm
What
sorry.
is stupidity in your mind? And the third component, which you're now alleging to, is fundamentalist basically Christian nationalists. In fact, Trump would have lost by 18
Yes.
points if it weren't for that
I
one
think
demographic.
willful ignorance is a part of stupidity.
willful, yeah.
Because it's not, let's forget the word. Let's forget the word. I think these people deserve to get their health care back. I want them to have everything that I want back. I want them to get back. I'm not dehumanizing them. I'm not saying that they don't deserve everything to get fixed and they should benefit from it. Not at all. I want them to have fucking health
Jay,
care. I
is
want them to get
everybody-
education.
Is everybody who has a strong religious belief stupid? Is everybody in a cult a stupid person, generally speaking?
I think it's a
No.
trick question. I mean, I think that there are.
Even smart people can fall for
I
cons.
understand, but I think there
Smart
are very
people
there-
could get sucked into
Of
cults.
And they
course
can
they are.
rationalize
Smart
it better.
people are tribal.
I have been conned myself. I
Yes.
get it, but you know what's the difference?
It's just
The difference, because I'm a skeptic, and I was born this way. You know what I mean? I leaned into something that we were all born with. This, by the way, right? We're lucky. I feel
I
privileged.
disagree.
Maybe not.
We
I don't
learned
think
it.
so.
I 100% learned it. I wasn't.
We
born
learned
this
it, but
way.
what I'm saying is, Steve,
We believed some crazy
we were
shit when we were
thirsty
young.
for fucking knowledge.
Yeah, we had
and when
components
as
of
soon
it.
as we found out about skepticism, we were like, bingo, that's the ticket. We saw something in it. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But the point is, they are accountable whether they
course
were
they are.
slipped into it or not. And I think the fact that they're still holding the flag when literally we are seeing
Listen,
the
the
country
lo-
we're seeing the
Yeah.
country crumble. We're seeing people not be able to afford anything. Like all the clues are there now, Steve. So they're in their house. They're like,
you see them because you are listening to that part of the information
Steve, they
ecosystem.
go, hey, we can't afford health insurance.
What they see is the southern border's closed. Trump did that.
Yeah.
They see tariffs as a good thing.
southern border isn't closed.
But they think it
They
is.
think it
Well,
is.
but
And they think that's the reason
Listen.
why they don't have health care.
Okay, so why would they think the southern border is closed if it isn't closed?
but the number of crossings has dramatically
Yeah,
decreased.
it certainly has.
It has. Right? So there's a kernel of truth there, which then gets politicized
Oh, yeah.
and
Okay,
simplified.
so look, I can completely agree. Maybe I shouldn't have used the word stupid. Not a major offense. It's not.
It
It's
is.
not a
It's
major
like-
offense. It is not. It's ridiculous to try to frame this as using the word stupid.
Jay,
I mean, as I
don't
live,
miss my
as I
point.
live and eat, as I live through my days,
And eat.
especially right now,
Jay, you
where
have
we
got-
are in a war that is totaling the world, right? And they don't see it, and I have to be like, well, they're not stupid, or they are literally paying twice the amount of money that they were paying for gas, and they don't see it. They're okay with
Jay,
it. They're making excuses about it, and
It's
that's
a
not
vague,
stupid.
loaded, inaccurate term.
Perfectly
that
okay to
puts-
use it on literally 95% of the people, Steve, that are listening to me right now, listen to the podcast. I'm not
Yeah.
talking to the outside world. I'm talking to our people.
We
Even
are talking
still,
to the outside
even
world.
still,
What?
Jay.
Okay.
The point is, stupid. If you fall for a con, it doesn't make you stupid. It makes you a human being, right? If you adopt the religion of your parents, it makes you a human being. It doesn't make you
of course
stupid.
you're gonna do that.
If you get sucked into a cult, it makes you vulnerable in certain ways. This was a vulnerable population that was exploited by a world-class con artist, and then supported by the media. The media utterly
Steve,
failed.
I'm not disagreeing
Let me
with you.
finish my
I'm not
statement. You've
disagreeing.
ranted plenty now,
Okay,
Jay. Let me
okay.
finish what I'm saying.
I got you. I'm here. I'm
The
listening.
media completely failed when it came to Trump in 2016.
They're failing
utterly
every day.
fucking
Yes.
They're
failed.
totaled right now,
The
Steve.
entire Republican Party collapsed like a house of cards.
Absolutely.
So these people were failed on multiple
Yeah.
levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to blame them entirely and say you're 100% where you are because you're stupid.
I didn't say that.
That's not the case.
didn't say
it's
that.
not even meaningful to call them stupid.
I didn't say
You
what you
said
just
they're
said.
stupid. You
I
said
did-
they're stupid.
Yeah, but I
you
didn't-
can't make that diagnosis. You can't say that. They are not necessarily stupid. They are victims.
They
are
could be
victims.
both at the same time.
But
Steve.
why? But the stupid comment is redundant, unnecessary, and not true. Other than the fact that the con artist targeted low education
All right,
people.
let me. Oh, okay.
That is demonstrably true.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not their fault
That's
that they're low
Trump said, "I
education.
love
That's
the
different from
Trump
stupid,
said, "I
Jay.
like the uneducated." He said that.
Okay.
He's targeting that.
But that's what I'm basically.
But saying low education is not stupid.
All
Jay.
right. So their human potential might not be that they're actually like intellectually diminished, that they never got the chance to develop themselves to where they should be. Right.
They're not critical thinkers. That's a failing of the educational system.
Right. But however, the things that they're doing, the things that they're supporting, the things that they are ignoring, all of that stuff, the way that and when I say
Jay,
these
It's
people
threatening the world.
What they're doing and saying is stupid. That doesn't make them
Yes,
stupid.
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And
All
just
right, I
as
could hear
skeptics,
that.
we have to be important to make that distinction.
All right, I just
you
think-
blame the con artist,
Oh,
not the
God.
con.
I think me using the word stupid has been completely overblown in the
I
last
think
15 minutes.
I disagree. I think we've been completely properly blowing it, and I think you are
Hello.
completely underestimating. You're still not getting an.
So do we
internalizing
not
what I'm
hold the
saying.
voters accountable?
No.
There's no accountability.
Personally,
I
say no.
opened up that my first statement was that they are accountable. That was
Okay.
my first
I don't
statement.
remember everything you yelled at me.
That was my first opening to this
All right,
whole
so we
conversation.
agree that there is accountability.
Of course
as
there's
well.
accountability.
Okay.
But what
Right.
accountability to? All right, yeah, whatever. I mean, look, a few geographic and-
Accountability is not the same as what the cause is.
Right.
The cause is not their stupidity. The cause is all the failures, systemic
Right.
failures
Okay.
that are going
a
on.
few
I mean, I think-
economic and geographic changes in your life, and you might have been. a
Oh, I
MAGA
could have been
supporter.
born in
I
another
know, but that's
country
why
and
we
believe
have to
that-
have empathy. Like
It's
I-
there, but for
overloaded
the
empathy.
Ian, I have so much
I
empathy.
know,
Quirkiness of
brother. I
fake
know.
life.
I
For
know.
them
I'm
and the
not.
world.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying we got to take a breath when we get.
This
agitated.
thing this is played out so.
I know you're tired. You're exhausted.
But-
Stop talking to them on Facebook.
I do. I'm done. Like I'm telling you, what I say to them now is, I don't care what you
not gonna
think.
I mean, it's like
I don't want to
arguing with
have.
flat earthers. I mean, is that
Yeah,
it's
no,
not going to get you
I'm
anywhere.
doing it. I have done it. I have made the
But,
shift.
but as skeptics, we need to understand that people come to their unscientific, unskeptical, pseudoscientific opinions for a variety of reasons, and it has very little to do with their native intelligence.
Yep.
And we just have to extend that to the political realm. But politics is emotional.
Yeah.
That's again what I'm saying is now you're abandoning these skeptical principles because you're emotionally riled up by the politics of this.
I mean, it's not
but
like
it's the same. It's
Steve,
the same.
you know, I know, but it's not like I'm angry and yelling like I am right now. You know what I mean? Like this is me. You know, you stick RFK in my face.
I'm sorry. That was my fault.
And
I'm
him like getting rid of like the board of
NSB,
science.
I
You know,
know.
yeah,
I
that
know.
that tweaked me up a little bit because everybody knows that motherfucker is my trigger. But anyway,
I
you
know,
know, I spent an amazing amount of time trying to pull people back from this abyss. I tried for a decade.
Yeah.
it's political
And,
identity.
and
Jay.
Steve, the vast majority of the people I'm talking to come off as stupid.
what they say is stupid.
What they say, yes.
That doesn't make
The
them
ideas,
stupid.
the
Okay,
ideas. not
okay,
the
I
person.
know.
That's the
Say-
distinction
At
we are
least
trying to make.
say ignorant then at least.
Come off as ignorant.
Perhaps, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Ignorant is lack of information, right? That's curable.
Stupid is low IQ.
You could say that they
Even
lack the
that's
critical thinking skills to navigate the current information ecosystem. That doesn't. It's not as pithy as saying they're stupid.
All right,
But-
now that we've figured out that everybody not watching this live stream is stupid, let's move on. Just kidding. Let's move on to something that maybe will do the opposite. Are you guys familiar with the term blue MAGA?
Yeah.
I think I might have introduced.
What, you think we're
to that.
stupid,
What, you
Ian?
still stupid on me? All right, so let's look at what happened over the weekend. Correspondents' dinner lacked highest security level despite presence of top officials. So you may. This is one source from Washington Post. You may know what have happened this weekend if you're not. Well, I don't know. If you're
Hold on,
living
Ian, one
anywhere.
second. I like that.
Which one?
This guy, Dead End, said we need to bring back calling people fools. I think
You
using,
fool.
I think using the word fools
You fool.
is so much better than
Fine,
using
you
the word
fool.
stupid.
Yeah, I
Right?
agree.
Isn't that a better word to use?
It's
It
more,
is more fun.
It's more
It's
crime
whimsical.
Foolish.
It is, but it also it says a couple of different things. Because stupid, you could say like stupid is a harsher word.
What about troglodyte?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
I think
that
fools
one's
is a good word
Fools is a little nicer.
Troglodyte.
because
Troglodyte.
the
But
word
Jay,
fools,
don't attack the person. Attack the belief.
the belief.
Right? We've been saying that
Yeah.
for 20 years. Attack the belief, not the person.
I know, but they did this to us just as much as Trump did.
Well,
They did.
Again, if
They're
I
more
was making a
concerning in other
hierarchy
ways.
of blame,
Yeah.
Yep.
Trump
it's
at the top.
Trump is at the top.
Yeah.
The
That's
Republican
president.
Party is next. The
Yes.
media,
Correct.
social media, tech bro assholes.
Yep.
The actual voters are at the bottom of
Way,
a very
way
long
bottom.
list of people who are to blame. Again,
Democrat
not that
Party's
I
in
said
there,
they
too.
are responsible for their vote.
Yeah.
Nincompoop is a
Nincompoop
good one.
is
Nincompoop is good.
Nincompoop.
That's a
Wait,
good
now
one.
nincompoop.
Nincompoop.
Dude,
From
that's a
Nash.
good one too. That's a very old school word.
Nincompoop.
Yeah, but hello, sir. You're a nincompoop.
If you can do it with a monocle,
hey guys,
that's awesome.
I'm just throwing this out there. If you got insulted by my use of the word stupid, or you didn't like my emotional reaction, go fuck yourself. I get it, and I'll take any heat anybody wants to push my way. But God damn it, I get to have reactions. I get to
course.
emotionally react, and I get to intellectually react. And I gave 10 years trying to help people.
So
I
you
gave it.
deserve the ability to call
No,
them
but I mean,
stupid now.
I feel like,
You've
as I've
earned
said
it.
before, I've said this so many times. I am sitting in a room full of friends and co-conspirators here. We are all on the same team. I'm not talking to the two people that might come here for 15 seconds.
Jay, you're
I know, but we want
aware
those two
of the
people.
internet.
I know,
right?
but Steve, I know we just polled the audience last week. I know who we're
doesn't-
talking to. I
Yeah, but
recognize
Jay-
all these names, Steve.
Yeah, but we want that trickle. We want the trickle down economics.
Yeah, but we're not doing trickle
no.
down here. This is us.
kidding.
This
It's
come on,
both
guys.
simultaneously.
Let me state something so obvious.
No, let's not. We don't have to
This
do that.
show, this Wednesday live stream, is us reveling in our critical thinking and our community. And yes,
It is
we,
preaching to the
and yes,
choir,
we are
yes,
kind of
sure.
making fun of all the people that we put down on
but we
TikTok.
should be modeling good skepticism,
Yes.
and I don't think you're doing that
all
when
right,
you
all
call
right. So
half the country stupid.
I took a moment to what do you call it?
Be human. You are human. You're allowed to rant.
I took a moment to.
But
I can't even think of the word. I
Don't
took
worry
a
about
moment to entertain myself and to give whatever. I don't
Indulge
care.
yourself,
I
yeah.
don't care. I think
it is
we
self-indulgent.
we
as
all
what's-
deserve
what's
we
his name would
all
say.
deserve to blow off the anger
yeah,
and
right.
steam
Just
and
not on a live
frustration.
stream.
It's a daily assault.
keep your pants on.
We are
It
daily.
is very frustrating. I get you. It's
Yeah.
extremely frustrating to watch what's happening to our country, happening to our world. The
Like, as
damage
an example-
that's
Very
being
frustrating.
done.
Wait,
There's nothing
wait, we
with
gotta
Joe.
I
get
get
onto
it,
the
I
no, we
get it.
don't. No, we don't. This is way more
All
interesting.
right, fine.
As an example, we have been lied to dozens of times a day for the last year and a half. Lie after lie after lie after lie after lie, right? So then the shooting happens last weekend, right? And everybody's like, oh my God, it's fake and all that
Wait,
stuff.
that's what I'm about to get
I know,
to.
but I'm setting it up right here. I'm setting you up for this.
All right, fine.
And we are so unbelievably tired and everything. It's like now you expect us to now I have to believe the media and I have to believe what the Trump administration is saying. I don't think that
It's
the shooting,
exhausting. It's
I
exhausting.
don't think, I'm going to make this point. I don't think the Trump administration concocted this thing. I think that guy really wanted to kill
Sure.
Trump. But give me a break with all the people freaking out about so many people claiming that this was faked, because everything is faked. We have been faked every goddamn day of our lives.
So here's the difference.
Right? Do you see what I'm saying,
Okay,
though?
go ahead and do the blue thing.
It's all
Blue
fake.
line.
right,
What
it's-
is the fucking truth?
But that's what they want you to do, is not trust anything. Trust no information.
That's the type 2 problem we
Yes,
talked about.
that's the
on-
type
That-
we talked
they
about.
could
All right,
try to
political
do that, but we
reality.
have our information sources that we
Sure.
trust.
But let's
That's
look
what the
at
other side thinks.
Let's
too.
look at the blue
Yeah,
MAGA
right.
conspiracy. So the blue MAGA is like the idea of liberal conspiracy
Which is a
adherence, which is a thing.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
No, any human can fall for this stuff anyway. So if you realize what happened over the weekend, this guy Cole Allen ran into the Hilton, which also the Hilton was famous for something else. Are you familiar with this hotel?
Reagan.
That's right. It's where Reagan was shot.
Ronald Reagan assassination attempt. That's right. So I mean, maybe
We were there. We actually went into the room that
true.
Reagan came out of. Remember that?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
So anyway, so there's a historical significance.
Wait, slow down.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate. Oh, 20. Dang. Big
Going
spender.
on a
Come
Disney
on.
cruise.
Hey.
That's $20 for a
That's $20
Disney cruise.
Disney
Steve will
cruise, let's
never
go.
let me have that $20.
We'll
That
get there.
$20
We'll
is
get
like
there. We'll get there.
30,000
We'll get
leagues
there.
away from me.
All right, so this guy, Cole Allen,
Thanks, though.
ran into the Hilton. I have a video of that. We'll see that in just a second. But he had arguably a shotgun, I believe, and a pistol or something, and some knives and whatever. All right, he didn't get very far, but let's look at some of the things that have happened thus far where Blue MAGA is a little questioning.
Blue MAGA. I just love that phrase.
What is
It's so
happening
awesome.
here? Oh, actually, you know what? Let me
Oh,
not do
God,
one.
this
No,
was
hold
the
on. Let me not do that. Let me do the
Stroke of genius.
the
This
stuff
woman did that
first.
so
I
that
know, I know.
interview.
We'll get to
oh
that.
My
We'll get
God.
to that. Let's look at this first. So here's
It'll be entertaining.
Caroline Levitt.
There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great.
Oh, is that part of the conspiracy, Ian?
So this is part. So I'm going to just play videos of that the Blue MAGA is using for conspiratorial thinking on whether or not this was faked. So this is Caroline Levitt before, obviously, the shooting, and she's the one who helped write the speech.
It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
So that phrase
So everyone should tune in. It's going to
has gotten people like, oh, what did she know?
Because nobody ever
Ever.
uses that term, rhetorically to mean or euphemistically.
Nobody ever uses that. Here's some other interesting
awesome
images.
coincidence.
Do you see what I see in this photo of Stephen Miller exiting the White House Correspondents' Dinner with his wife as they're evacuating, knowing that there's some sort of security situation going on? There's the obvious. There's where his hand is located.
I mean, that's
what
a little
his hand is touching.
Where's his hand
The
located?
fact that
His hand. Okay, so some of this is like Stephen Miller, obviously,
Can't see it. Yeah.
a bad POS, but whatever. He is standing behind his wife.
Mm-hmm.
People claiming he's using her as a shield. Whatever.
That's ridiculous.
His hand is on her breast, obviously, because she says later that she moved his hand up just to like hold on to her. So
is
like
behind
people
his
are looking
wife.
at
They
that like,
think that he's
saying
copying a
he was-
feel as they're running away
As
from a
they're
shooter.
correct. That's all.
That's
So he's
so
using her as a
ridiculous.
shield. Not sure if that's
Drive
exactly
by.
the case. I think he was just trying to get her out and get the safety.
And he at least
But that's open to
did
anyone's
that.
interpretation.
But here's the
But
next
it's what's not
conspiracy.
obvious
Go
in
ahead.
this photo, and you have to look a little deeper. So look here, as we zoom in, who is there behind the curtain looking on?
Oh, who is it?
That is Trump.
Trump. Looks like
He's there watching. He got removed from the stage, taken behind the curtain, and he's there watching the chaos unfold.
Is
They
that
didn't just
Trump?
Aha.
behind
He's
the
wearing a
curtain.
tie. And he's
Good
wearing
question.
a bow tie.
He was wearing a bow tie. I think I have some images
Oh, was
of
he?
Trump during that. But
It
there's
can't
some
be
other-
Trump. It can't be him because if this was real, which I think
He
it
would be
is,
sworn by
the Secret Service would have him squirreled away somewhere from the stage.
So here is Trump. Here's the way he's dressed. He had the bow tie. But what you'll notice also, what's in his pocket?
nothing.
Nothing. But in this image, he's a little, as far as I can tell, looks like a little white handkerchief. Now,
Okay.
could it have fallen out? Could it got tucked down before and he pulled it out after the evacuation? Who knows? This guy looks bald to me. It's also pixels. So this is another instance where they're anomaly hunting. And it's like,
they're
it's a
anomaly
guy.
yeah, you can see what you want to see.
Yeah, you see what so
I
it's
wonder
like,
what AI would do to enhance that because there might be like subtleties in.
I have an AI video that'll be fun to watch. It's a bald guy. Also, somebody said it also fits the purpose of it's cinema. You know, he's looking at the thing
Yeah.
that he constructed. So this is another video that has been.
So,
used
all right,
for-
here's the thing, just
Go ahead.
just to
Please.
pull back a little bit.
Sure.
Of course, this kind of conspiracy bullshit is on both sides. Remember, after 9/11, there was a whole bunch of liberals said that it was an inside job because they could blame the Bush administration.
Correct.
It happens on both sides.
Yeah.
The difference is the conspiracy nonsense is now mainstream within the Republican Party.
I know.
And it's still on the fringe of the Democratic Party. That's the difference, is that the radical ideas and the radical conspiracy nonsense is now front and center. That is the center of gravity of the Republican Party. That is, that is being repeated by senators, congressmen, the president, whereas This is just the fringe nut jobs on the left.
Right.
That's the big difference. But yes, of course,
center, really.
there's going to be conspiracy theories. There's the conspiracy theorists who think everything is a conspiracy theory. Then there are the opportunistic conspiracy theorists who will jump on a conspiracy because it aligns with their tribe.
worldview. Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we're seeing.
And that's what, yeah, definitely. So it's not exactly the same, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's look at some others. These are the things that people are using, and there's some, they're really digging deep to try to find some stuff. So here's something.
Quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt.
So let me just say, this is Caroline Levitt's husband warned a Fox News reporter who's on the phone that she needs to be very safe prior to the shooting incident. Fox News abruptly cut the reporter's audio after revealing the weird interaction. Let's see what happened.
The press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some
audio cuts. And
sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time.
I can see why people would think
I did want to
that's,
add this
sketchy.
while we had a moment.
So do you think that's compelling? Like they
No.
cut her line?
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Losing the audio from especially in they're just getting this up and running. It's
And
news
it's
that's happening in
multiple
real
probably
time.
on their phones.
The timing is what makes it sus, because if she was right going to get to it. But it's not like that person has been removed from the planet.
Right.
She could write her own op-ed or whatever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's another thing that's going into the conspiracy. Oh, let me play the actual dude running. So here is a video of the dude running.
Run. Can't see anything.
Zooming. Oh, sorry. There you go. Meow.
Okay, what's that about?
That's him running through the hallway. This is what Trump actually posted on his Truth Social. So he posted the video of the security cameras as Cole Allen was running, and you can see all of the Secret Service responding.
Why didn't any
to
of
that.
them run after him?
Well, there probably was a lot, and also maybe they stopped right shortly after that because I don't think he got very far. But there's an AI enhanced version, which
Okay, here we go.
totally will look realistic. Okay, wait, let me stop back. So you see him back here. He's holding something in his hand.
Looks like a sign.
Looks like a sign. And also watch this guy's hat. It disappeared. Where does hat go?
So this whole thing is an AI video?
This is AI video, but this has also been passed around as being, just a higher res version.
Wait,
of-
Ian, that's strange.
Yeah.
Everybody that walks in that zone where he is right now at the first frame, that white thing appears in front of them. Watch that quadrant of the thing. Now watch anybody else that walks over there. White thing.
Oh yeah.
White
that guy's-
thing. What is that?
I don't know. I mean, it's AI. It's CapCut AI. So it's just somebody feeding the original video into it and then passing it off as like, oh, this is actually filling
We
the
warned
gaps.
about this years ago. That as AI gets better, deep fakes get better. The zone is just going to be flooded with misinformation, with fake video, fake pictures. No one's going to know what's real or what isn't real.
Man, baby.
Man, baby.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay, so let's go into a real deep conspiracy, which I will play for you now. So Cole Allen was a game developer as well as a part-time teacher, and there's some stuff that people found on the internet. So this is a weird account on Twitter.
Henry Martinez,
whatever that is. He posts in December 21st of 2023, Cole Allen. So 2 years ago-ish, a year and a half ago, whatever. Cole Allen. So that people are searching around the web to try to find anything. So they're looking into this guy that he must have known something.
Mm-hmm.
And then they look at this image up here.
I see a face in there.
Does that look like anything to you? Does that look like a face to you?
It looks like Jesus a little bit.
Looks like Jesus. Here, I'll get a higher res.
Also looks like a skeleton.
I see a skull, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Does this look like anything to you? Like a skull? Anything?
See, like a kind of a person, like looking to his right. Like you see the head and the shoulders.
Yeah,
basically.
that central point there, Ian, like it has a lot of purple as the hair.
Skull. It's a skull with hair.
Yeah,
skull with hair. That's like the nose
I kind of
or
like
something?
it.
Yeah, I see all
you
of
can
it.
kind of see a skull. Okay, maybe I can give you an image that will pique
The
your
crucifixion.
fancy. No.
This?
Look at this. Look at that. Look at this.
Oh.
Look at that. See the arm raised?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look
I
at
mean,
this.
that's all anomaly hunting, though.
Look at that. So
No.
what does that say? Does that not say? That doesn't tell you?
No.
No. All right.
I always thought
That's
with
a
that
stretch.
with that picture,
Yes, that's
Ian,
not
go back
much.
to the Trump picture.
Go ahead.
When they let him do this after the
God.
shooting,
Uh-huh.
I was like, how could they? Why would in a million years would they let him do this after he was shot? And that was what put a kernel of doubt in my mind on how real this was, because I didn't think the Secret Service would be that sloppy.
Well,
But
why
they
do you
were.
think it's sloppy?
But they were, because I.
Why, but do you know anything about?
No, I
the
admit
social-
it.
you
I
know,
don't know
like
anything
Secret
about it.
Service procedure?
I know Hollywood. I know
Uh-huh.
what the movies have taught me. You know what I
Right.
mean? I've never done a deep dive on the way that they work, but
That's definitely not part of the procedure.
from
I
my
guarantee that.
From my knowledge and my understanding, however I obtained it, which I tell you is questionable, them letting him do anything other than, like, they should have whisked him away and bring him to wherever the safe spot is. And that happening to me bothered me for a long time.
But-
when I saw that image and saw what they let him do and expose himself again, they don't know if there was 5 more shooters, right? Isn't that weird?
No,
I'm not saying it
not
was
with
fake.
Trump.
I'm not
I mean,
saying it was fake, but that happening is wrong.
They also know that if they don't listen to him, they're fired. They're gone.
Yeah, their defense was
they're
he
a dime-
insisted.
They're a dime a dozen
Yeah.
from his point of view. They're gone. So what do you do?
I know, I don't, but you would think, these are people that jump in front of bullets for whoever they're protecting. And they're going to let that happen? I don't know. It's very strange. And now, again, I don't think any of that was fake, because somebody got murdered right there. By the way.
Sorry. Yeah. So there are some reports that the way that the Secret Service handles certain situations is they'll do a removal immediate, or sometimes just protect in place until they assess the situation, and then remove. So like the idea of they always have to remove is not always true. But here's a video that people in Blue MAGA have been looking at, where it's
Can you make it
JD
bigger?
Vance is escorted. I actually can't because this.
Yeah, no problem. Go
doesn't
ahead. I can
fit.
see it.
So you can see JD Vance there. His team, because they do have separate teams, grab him first before Trump. As you can see, Trump is being blocked by this Secret Service agent. So they're saying, aha, that means, therefore, that there's some conspiracy. Why would they get JD Vance first and not Trump first? And they just block him. But they do have 2 separate teams.
Yeah.
Of course they do.
So, which is important to note. It was also, it's like 20 seconds apart.
Yeah.
But this is used as a little item that they're like, oh, well.
None of it is compelling to me.
Yeah, the other thing you have to realize is, despite the training that they have, how many Secret Service agents actually experience a live shooting event?
True.
Right.
Not very many.
They also lose their shit.
Yeah. So, and these things are always going to be unexpected chaos. The fact that they respond professionally at all is a testament
Can I
to
say
their
something,
training.
though? Now, you would think, right? This just logically. Okay, Secret Service guys, here we are, and here's the setup, here's the stage. All right, let's talk about it. If a shooter happened, where would they typically come from? And what are our protocols here? Where are our escape routes? I mean, you get more intel from the goddamn people on an airplane telling you how to get off if anything happens.
Why do you think they don't know that?
Well, that's what I'm saying, but I'm not. And again, I completely believe the shooting was real. I just see massive incompetence. It was so chaotic. They should have been.
Every situation's unique, though.
But Steve, they are supposed to go in and pre-game it. The Secret Service go in and they're supposed to suss everything
So
out.
what did they do that you think was incompetent?
It just looked very chaotic.
I don't know. Yeah, because there's 100 people in there.
Yeah. And also, we'll get to this in a second. A lot of people bring up like, oh, this was such a failure. But if anything, it wasn't a failure.
It wasn't
kind
a
of
failure.
Success.
It was a success. It may
yeah.
have been a sloppy
It might have
success,
been
but it was
sloppy.
a success.
But they did stop the guy before he could even
Yeah.
get into the room.
Of course.
You could always say, why did he even get that far?
Right.
Wait,
Well,
so you're saying so the security levels were high enough? I mean, the
Well-
guy didn't the guy get a lot deeper than he really should
Well,
have?
but the
on
thing
his-
is that the security, and he even mentions this in his manifesto, there's no security at the front door. Why? Because there's other people who stay at the hotel who are not part of
That
the
makes sense.
White House Correspondents' Dinner. So the security was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner entrance. So would is there a question mark about whether or not they should do that? Who knows? Here's another little conspiratorial angle. look at all these people smiling after a potential assassination attempt. Why are they smiling?
Is it after?
Shouldn't they be? Well, this is his like speech after. If you,
Who cares?
Well, I mean, but they're smiling.
Why not?
You know, because I
supposed
think
to be sad,
I think
Steve?
your
Why would
your
they be sad?
instinct is that people would have been so wigged out and horrified.
They're also politicians.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. It's like, oh, I wouldn't be smiling.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
they
you
compared
probably
this
would
to
be.
like the aftermath of like a school shooting, which you cannot compare the two at all.
It just seems tone deaf. That's what it seems like. It seems like
Yeah, I agree with
But it's
that.
tone deaf against what, him? I mean, it was against them. So, all right. Anyway, let's look at Cole Allen a little bit. So here's something. Cole Allen was I think a mechanical engineering major. He was featured on the Caltech Mechanical Engineering and Civil Engineering page. That's him right there, a picture of him. The same is true of Thomas Crooks, but for a BlackRock video. So Thomas Crooks was the guy who tried to shoot him in Butler, I believe. So is this CIA central casting? Picking their potential shooters and giving a few nods to the public beforehand. You think the CIA does that a lot?
no.
Okay. All right. I'm just asking questions here. Okay. I don't know. This actually it brings up a comedian. I'm going to play it because it's funny. This is Nick Mullen and he does a funny bit on this.
But that was always so funny to me because it's like what do you think happened, right? Like the fucking CIA was like, okay, plan's ready to go, ready to blow up the World Trade Center. There's only one step left. The clues. Yep. Yeah, it's clue time. It's time to get the clues out there, so we're going to have the Treasury team up with Mad Magazine to...
Anyway, so that's a little bit on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's incoherent. It's always incoherent. Because they're just looking for anomalies.
Right.
And then they go, what is that? What does that mean? You know,
If
but
there
they're not,
weren't
there's no
anom-
story. It doesn't make any sense.
The only anomaly would be if there weren't any anomalies, right?
Yeah,
That'd be
right.
like, what?
So what do you think, if you could justify a reason that may comport with somewhat with reality, why would this be happening? Why would this assassination attempt have happened?
This fake assassination attempt?
Correct.
I mean, it's always, the go-to is always a wag the dog distraction from Iran
Right.
or whatever else is going on.
It helped them win the election.
Yeah, if
Right?
it were fake, I would think the last one was so successful in bumping him up and capturing a lot of people. You know, it is a distraction. Remarkably, though, we are so blown out by everything that's happening. Like, this assassination attempt did not change.
It's a blip.
It didn't do anything to me. I couldn't care less.
So would you, if you saw somebody who made a prediction on April 13th, which seems auspicious, Trump is going to go for staged assassination attempt again. Blame it on Iran, excuse me. I will put a 25% chance on this play. Trump has lost all global respect, such that he had allies and enemies alike laughing at him.
He didn't try to blame it on Iran.
Oh, well, I mean, but close enough, right? Isn't that
But
close
how many
enough?
people predict that for every event?
I know.
Oh, okay.
And also, you know about
right.
those betting apps now. You can bet on anything.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, what about something more fluffy than distracting from Iran? What else would fluff Trump's ego that he may or may not want that is close to the White House?
The ballroom.
Oh yeah, he's using this to say the ballroom was being more secure location.
And now, is it important if Trump? Oh God, he writes in these screeds. But what happened last night is exactly, okay, I'm not going to do the voice, is exactly the reason for our great military, Secret Service, law enforcement, and for different reasons, every president for the last 150 years have been demanding that a large, safe, and secure ballroom be built on the grounds of the White House.
What?
This event would never have happened with the military top secret ballroom currently under construction at the White House. It cannot be built fast enough. While beautiful, it has every highest level of security feature there is, plus there are no rooms sitting on top of unsecured people to pour in, and is inside the gates of the most secure building in the world, the White House.
Okay, so this whole thing is it's so wrong in so many ways. So first of all, his solution to out of bounds, like crazy common gun violence in the country is to protect him and other rich people in $1 billion building or whatever it's going to cost. That doesn't everybody see that for what it really is? It's kind of like, the focus is on him and nothing else matters.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, okay, so you want this ballroom. You're trying to like somehow convince people that why would he even need regular people to nod their heads? Like he can just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even understand the point in bringing that up.
Well, I mean, this is part of it.
It's a vanity project. Just trying to
It's a
support
vanity
it.
project. Does it feed into the it feeds into the conspiracy from like the Blue MAGA because it's like it's legit. It's like one little crumb of true.
The thing is, it's flawed logic.
But it's
though.
flawed logic, right?
It's the argument of who benefited from this happening,
right?
Therefore, then reverse engineering. Therefore, they made it happen.
Yeah.
But that assumes again the unstated major premise there is that the fact that somebody either directly benefits from something or can leverage it, can exploit it to benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they must have engineered it in the first place because that would never happen by chance. But that's not true. Whenever anything reasonably big happens, there's going to be winners and losers, and every crisis is an opportunity. Everything could be exploited.
Right.
That doesn't mean it was
Chaos
manufactured.
is a ladder.
There's a ladder.
Yeah.
And it just it feeds into it, but there are Ashley St. Clair, which is like infamous for I think getting pregnant by Elon Musk over the internet, which was weird. Anyway, I don't want to go into that. Confirmed that the White House runs group chats telling these accounts what to post. When the minutes of the shots fired tonight, and this did happen before there was any news of casualties and before the president said this exact talking point, this was the chat in real time, and basically all of these accounts are saying this is why President Trump needs to build the White House ballroom. So there is a
that's messaging.
grift and a graft and messaging. Yes, right.
Sure.
And they will utilize whatever tragedy to their political benefit.
The fact is,
expediency.
Who gives a shit about the ballroom?
Well, he does clearly.
I know, but like, you have all the like I saw like a mashup of all these broadcasters and news people like talking about how Trump needs the ballroom now, and it clearly got out that
he wanted that messaging.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But the average person in the United States, we don't ever want to hear about it again.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear about it ever again. I couldn't be less interested in anything. Like if he's going to do it, just go do it. Why do I have to have it pushed into my face? Yeah, and I'm gonna have chicken for dinner tomorrow night. Nobody cares.
But again, you don't care
what kind of
because there's so many other scandals going on. This doesn't even rank.
Right.
But the thing is, he didn't have it was not legal for him to destroy the East Wing like that.
I know.
He didn't have the plans approved by anybody. Didn't go through the normal process. And all these big projects that he's doing, where he's raising private money for him, is just another grift opportunity. This money's just disappearing into Trump's coffers. So, an illegal grift in the White House, it absolutely is something that we care about.
Steve, I care about that.
I'm just saying, but yeah, it does fade into the background of all the other
I care as a
scandals.
critical thinker.
Yeah.
Like this. Let me restate my thing. He is grifting.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a grift. It's happening in every opportunity he can take. And there's nothing that we or anyone like that has the power, no one's going to stop it.
Can you imagine if Biden did what Trump is doing?
Oh, God.
Did you imagine the Biden family made $4 billion in his first year in office? They would lose their minds. Absolutely lose their minds.
My point is, though, I don't need to hear about it. Go ahead and grift all you want because your reckoning is coming when it's going to come.
Oh, I don't think so.
I
don't have a lot of confidence that that's happening.
either.
Well, I mean, look, if he doesn't mess up, if he doesn't total the election process, it's going to be like the likes you've never seen. It's going to be a massive win for Democrats.
But even then, what are they going to do?
Still limited.
Well, they'll
we
do a
limit
lot
the
more than what's
damage,
happening
but-
today.
He's been able to sleaze out of everything.
All right, what's next? I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah, we're actually done with that. And also, the grift and graft are two different things. I don't know if you guys know. Graft is corruption, dishonest acquisition of money, especially through bribery or misuse of public office. Grift is like small cons, apparently.
$4 billion.
Wow. All right, let's move on to another dickhead, although it's kind of fun. Tim Heidecker, not Tim Heidecker, but Alex Jones specifically. Tim Heidecker on his plans for Infowars and what he's going to do with Alex Jones's stuff. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Yeah.
But The Onion has won a bid, although there's like one layer left.
Yeah, hasn't this been going back and forth?
Yeah,
It's been
one
going back and
layer
forth.
left.
One layer left.
Nice.
But they are on their path to getting Infowars. So they will take over everything from Alex Jones, and all the proceeds go to the family.
Nice.
Families. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. Let me put some other images up. Yeah, Tim Heidecker and the Onion chief Ben Collins on their Infowars takeover, bringing down Alex Jones, the final gasps of a beached whale. So yeah, this has been going on for a long time. This does satisfy the $1.something billion that Alex Jones was forced to pay.
Okay.
But this satisfies that, and the proceeds from this go to the families, and also I think that, the signal's bad.
So did Alex Jones pay that money?
No.
He hasn't paid it.
Is he living in a trailer park?
He's not living in
Down
a
by the river?
He's down by the river. We could only wish. But no, The Onion bought the rights to Infowars.
Yeah, no, I
basically.
get it. I know, but
and that satisfies the judgment, and it's like I think a 6-month lease of the Infowars thing with the option to renew, and it keep the money from that purchase and the continued money, I guess, without operating costs goes to the family, is what I read. So. Yeah, Alex Jones will be sort of not destitute, but like he doesn't have his income from this. And I don't know if they took any more of his money from bank accounts and stuff. He was trying to do like a shell game thing for a while.
So even if a court tells you that you've got to pay, you don't have to pay.
Well, they can take all your stuff. They
yeah.
can, garnish your wages.
Mm-hmm. Or they can do this where it's like somebody else is technically paying for you, blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. So, it's maybe it's not as satisfying as seeing him, completely out of I don't know. I mean, it's satisfying to me personally because they're going to redo the whole Infowars thing. Let me see if I can find
as a parody site?
As a parody. So let's see this.
Hey everybody, I got some breaking news for you. It's looking very likely that global tetrahedron will seize control of Infowars in the coming days. The folks at Global Tetrahedron have asked me to step in as to run the show over there and become a big part of the future. So we're exploring. Sorry. My name is Tim Heidecker. I'm just here to let you know that I am now in charge of
Tim Heidecker of Tim and Eric, if you guys are familiar with Tim and Eric at all, the legendary comedy duo.
Infowars. It's an honor to take over the reins and chart a new path towards the future. We're looking forward to relaunching the site soon in the next coming months, and we're not really sure what we're going to do with it. We're talking about all sorts of ideas. We were playing around with it being a real estate broker service or a cryptocurrency exchange market, a place to store pictures, almost like a Dropbox account. Not sure. A lot of ideas, but very excited to take this on. And just want to wish everyone, extend a hand of friendship and grace as we proceed through this process. It's not going to be easy, but I can assure you that we have our best intentions in mind. We are in the city of brotherly love, and I want to extend that sentiment to all our friends over there, longtime fans and consumers of the Infowars.
All right. So anyway, he's taking over. Yeah, that's his whole thing. Let me see. Is there anything else breaking? I mean, there were some fun things. Infowars is technically still going on. So, and Alex Jones is kind of losing his mind. That's not the one. Hold on. What was his idea? Was it this one? Oh, that's just the idea of what he has in mind. Never mind. All right. There's a picture of Alex Jones with his shirt off ranting into the camera, which is pretty funny.
With his shirt off.
It's weird. What are you going to do? That's classic Alex Jones being a weirdo. But yeah, so that's some good news out there in the world, Fuck Alex Jones. He sucks. I don't know. Was there anything else you wanted to do? Because there were some TikToks. I know we have to do something outside, and that's a secret.
Were there any TikToks that you sent me that I didn't record already that we want
I
to
mean,
talk
we
about?
could go through some of them. We did the RFK glyphosate. There was, let's see if anybody can guess what these are. Fluoride versus iodine. Cows aren't wild. Running is bad. Moon trip was exactly timed to Pink Floyd.
I mean, any of those are funny. You could do those.
We could do the moon trip as
All right,
we'll
do
just
the moon
do
trip.
maybe
Artemis 2 took 42 minutes and 50 seconds to go past the dark side of the moon. Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon is 42 minutes and 50 seconds long. Coincidence? There's no such thing. Please take this pill with a glass of water and call me in the morning. Artemis.
So I tried to find a source for the duration of Artemis 2
judgment
passing.
call.
First of all, it's the far side of the moon, not the dark side of the moon.
Yep.
And I couldn't find anything precise. Basically, what did he say? It was 40 minutes and 50 seconds.
4 minutes, 50 seconds.
40 minutes and
Four.
50. 40.
I think it was 42, right? Wasn't it?
But the only thing I found was, first of all, what the time was the blackout period, was the period when they were in silence.
How long did that last?
It was about 40 minutes. Like, there's no source for 40 minutes and 50 seconds. So he's just making that up to make it fit. So is this a coincidence? Of course it's a fucking coincidence. And the idea that there are no coincidences is just utter stupidity.
hate that,
Why would there
man.
not be any coincidences? That's magic. Like, what could keep coincidences from happening?
Yeah, it's a ridiculous statement.
It's a ridiculous statement. So again, it's just anomaly hunting. And then what does that mean? It's like, again, this is sort of the clue thing. Is that NASA's clue that they were faking it? They said, let's make it the same time, the blackout period when Artemis is behind the moon, as Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album. Why would they? It makes no sense. It's insanity.
Just do something better with your life, please.
Yeah.
That guy's a clickbait. That's all he wants.
Yeah.
I think so. You know what? It's also partly, so that could just be clickbait. But the other thing is, which we've said before, but it bears repeating, everyone needs some form of entertainment in their life. You know what I mean? Needs something to do to whatever. That's
blow off steam,
to blow off, to be interesting, entertaining.
We don't have third spaces in
right? And for some people, it's conspiracy theories, or it's it's this kind of fantasy nonsense. What they need to do is separate their fantasy entertainment lives from reality. The problem is when people mix those two and they sort of pretend that their entertainment is reality.
Yeah.
All right, let's do maybe just two more. Time is speeding up.
Oh God, this is so dumb.
Okay, so there's people on TikTok all over the place saying that there's only 45 seconds in a minute now. And somewhere in 2020, something happened. Anyways, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but check this out.
Oh, yeah?
The 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, watch how many seconds are in the minute.
All right, here we go. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi, 11 Mississippi, 12 Mississippi, 13 Mississippi, 14 Mississippi, 15 Mississippi, 16 Mississippi, 17 Mississippi, 18 Mississippi, 19 Mississippi, 20 Mississippi, 21 Mississippi, 22 Mississippi, 23 Mississippi, 24 Mississippi, 25 Mississippi, 26 Mississippi,
Using his own subjective.
Right.
So it's 6 or 7 seconds.
And it's sped up, so we don't
faster
know
than
if
me
it's
already. So it'll be
reasonable.
about 15 seconds faster than me on the whole minute. So that's only 45 seconds. How we used to know them using the 1 Mississippi.
Stupid.
I don't know. I don't know anything about him except for this one thing. You could be. He's
a-
not a critical thinker. I think I would say that this guy's not steeped in
That
critical
is some
thinking. He's not a
dumb
skeptic.
shit right there, boy. I'm going to count and use the word Mississippi as my gauge on how long a second lasts. What if you said 256,000 Mississippi? That's a lot longer than 2 Mississippi, right? How long will that counting concept
Where
like
do you get this? I know, bro. I find them.
Go ahead.
I hunt them out. All right, that one was
one more
painful.
Yeah.
All right, climate change and ice. This
Sure.
is a classic one.
Oh, I hate this fucking.
There
guy.
are only a few natural liquids on Earth that expand when frozen,
Why
and
is he
water is
naked?
one of them. So, with this being said, let's think about the fact that we are being told that all of the sea levels are rapidly rising. But did you know that roughly 90% of icebergs are actually underwater? So you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. That's where that saying comes from. So if all of these icebergs are melting and all of the ice around the world is melting, then how would the sea levels be rising if most of the ice is underwater? And let's just say my train of thought is completely wrong.
It's completely wrong.
Well,
the rails.
Are the sea levels rising? No. That's why Miami is one of the fastest growing cities in the entire world. That's why Dubai decided to build most of its city on the water, in the ocean. So if the sea levels are rising, then why are all of the big boy billionaires investing into coastal cities? Why is everyone moving to coastal cities if the sea levels have been rising for hundreds of years? And you see Lucy over here, she's doing just fine. Anyways, I made this video entirely for entertainment purposes only.
Well, we can say the billionaires are stupid, right? Are we allowed to say that?
Well, I mean, I think there's so many things to say. You know, the icebergs that are floating displace exactly as much water as they would fill when they melt, right? So melting icebergs do not affect the sea level.
Right.
By definition, like they're displacing their weight in water, and so when they are water, that's exactly the volume that they would fill. So melting icebergs don't raise ocean levels. Melting glaciers do. You have to be ice on land that then flows into the ocean in order to raise sea levels. That's one cause of ocean rising. The other one is that water expands as it heats. So even if it's the exact same amount of water, if you increase that water by 1 degree, it will expand, and that will cause sea level rise. So the reason, there is evidence for a pretty steady, like millimeters per year or whatever, rise of the sea level. Citing indirect evidence, like why are people investing in the coastline, is indirect. It's not evidence that the sea levels are or not rising. But the other thing is that the projected significant sea level rise is over the next couple of 100 years. So, you know what I mean? Like maybe people are not, investors who may even know that are like, well, we don't have to worry about it. It's not going to be significant for decades or 100
nobody's
years.
predicting sea rise, a lot of sea rise
over the next 30, 40, 50 years.
Over the next generation.
More importantly, though, do you guys think that for next week we should take our shirts off to do this live stream?
Just do the live stream with our shirts off? That's not happening.
That's a...
Steve.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right, Bob. Show off.
Oh God. Well, look, there was highs and lows this week. We had a lot of fun. We learned about vocabulary.
We learned.
We learned that.
I need recap music.
That most of us don't care when people try to kill the president. And most of all, we learned that Ian will throw down if the right topic comes up.
I did not. I said nothing. I agreed with you 100%. No.
All right, well, guys.
All right,
I haven't said this in a while.
Uh-oh.
But
also no TikToks because we already did it actually before.
We have
because we have to do something.
Almost no control over what's going on here, and it seems like the world is becoming a darker place moment by moment. But we do have some levers we can pull, and one of them is really easy, and we all have it.
Okay.
I think you know what I'm going to say.
I don't know.
We need to treat each other. Treat your friends.
Excellently.
Treat your families. Do acts of kindness for people that you love. Maybe
and don't
something
call
specific.
them stupid.
Yeah. Most importantly, feel free to speak openly around like-minded people.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not a rapist.
I'm
not a rapist.
I didn't even play that.
I know.
That was the funniest thing that
That's
happened.
the funny. All right, you guys watch it. It's.
Can you at least just tell them? I mean, everyone should.
Didn't that judge recently say yes, he's a rapist? The judge who oversaw his case.
I think legally you can say that because he was. Well, it's the civil case, right?
Yeah.
So he was found liable.
Liable for rape,
sexual assault,
not
or
criminally.
Not criminally, but I think that's still whatever.
So if you're married, do something really nice for your spouse. If you have kids, do something exciting for them this weekend. Give them a moment to be kids. If you are alone, if you happen to be single, do something for your parents. Just do something nice because we spread that around and it actually makes the world a better place. I know it sounds kind of hokey, but it's true because it's all perception based anyway, right? So if like Steve does something for me that makes me happy, in some interpretation of reality, the world was temporarily the
happiness
place.
of the world increased.
Yeah. But if all of us do it,
like
you know,
entropy. her happiness.
You know, if there's 500 or 1,000 of us here right now, like a thousand
yes,
people,
pets.
1,000 people could have a moment of happiness that they wouldn't have already had. I think you get what I'm saying, but you have to make yourself do it because it's easy to forget.
Be Mr. Rogers or something. I don't know.
All right.
He was pretty dope. All right, that's it.
All right, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for
See you
joining
next
us.
week.
See ya. Toodaloo.